abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Hewitt!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
The back seat. Check the back seat. All right, come here. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
A crossover is crossover dribble.
Sing for the crossover. Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane.
One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossover.
Double crossover.
The crossover continues to evolve.
All right, time for the crossover powered by Everlow Concrete Repair and Everlow Auto. You all right?
Those are good cookies, aren't they? Josh had
You
one
caught me
too.
in.
I had
I was
one.
not ready.
Connor,
Crossover powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha. Everlowconcrete.com.
You're not
I
chocolate
don't
mint
think,
flavored.
no, Josh, you're going to enjoy One Love.
Oh yeah,
what's that?
I don't.
Bob Marley. I went to it last night.
I don't really care for Bob Marley or weed, so
I've heard there's no weed smoking in
there's
the movie.
no weed smoking in the movie.
They don't pass out and here's your ticket, here's your complimentary joint.
I've heard bad things or average things.
So when I went on my honeymoon to Ocho Rios, I studied Bob Marley and
What do you
Red
mean
Stripe.
studied.
So I had
I had
myself
Red
some
Stripe.
Bob Marley and some Red Stripe.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't know the story of Bob Marley, I don't think they explain it very well.
Oh, okay.
Like they leave out a lot of missing pieces.
I really just know the broad stroke of his life.
It's very disjointed how the story is told. The music is great.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a good thing that it was only about an hour and a half. But my issue yesterday, two things at the theater. I went to Exarban Village. One, 6:45 is when it's supposed to start. The movie actually, it was 7:15 before they turned down the lights.
Okay, that's too long.
Yep.
They're
Half
showing
hour.
30 minutes,
Too long.
not previews, but they're showing Maria Menounos is doing a little thing.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
And
there's
I'm like,
always bits
Give
now.
me some previews.
Well, you got to hear from our guy Greg Marcus.
Oh, that's true. Yes, and those are usually really awkward commercials.
Yeah.
So they don't turn down the lights till right at 7:15.
Mm.
And then the other
That's too
thing
long.
is, God, I'm one that always stays through the credits. You know, I learned that Brad Pitt is involved in this movie. And then they also at the end they kind of fill in the blanks of Bob Marley passed away from cancer when he was 36 in 1981 and blah blah blah. People are slobs in movie theaters.
This is a true.
Oh yeah, nobody cares. Yeah.
Like,
well, it's dark, and you're like,
popcorn's
well,
everywhere.
you can't track it back to me.
They don't.
You know,
they don't-
That's true.
You know, there's a
No
reason.
DNA
There's a
testing.
reason why they have the trash, the garbage, cans as you exit the theater, so you can put your stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a comfort in people. You know, people sneak stuff into the theaters too. There's a real increased comfort in that category.
Oh,
I hear cans popping occasionally. You know, people unwrapping stuff,
glass bottles
Glass bo-
clanking,
yeah,
and
glass
then
bottle.
rolling
Yeah.
down the
Roll-
stadium
Well,
seats.
okay, so let's be honest.
they'll just leave
Yeah.
it there too. They have no shame.
Part of that is, what's the oldest person you've seen working in a theater these days?
Oh, like 16.
Yeah, that's it.
There's one person on a Saturday night who's like 24,
But
Yeah.
it's
but they're running the joint.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're,
So-
they're the manager.
So there's no
Yeah.
teenage
Can I speak to your
kid
manager?
that's walking into the
I am
theater
the
and telling
manager.
people to be quiet or anything. I also have noticed this. I think if you really pushed it, you could just walk into a theater by the person that's sitting at the booth like right at the front entrance.
Oh,
Like just keep it moving.
I don't think they'll stop you.
I don't
I
want
don't
to
think they would
reveal
either.
too much, but when I go to the movies, there's no ticket taker or checker. You can just walk wherever you want to walk if you know where you're walking to.
I have the same. Well, people know where I go. Yeah, there's a lot of times you'll walk in and there's no one there to take your ticket. Even if you go to the kiosk and buy a ticket, and you turn and you're about ready to walk into the the main lobby.
Unless you go at like
there's
peak
nobody.
time. Unless you go at peak, like
Yeah.
7 o'clock on a
Right.
Friday.
Yeah,
or
now
something like that.
if
I'm
you-
going at 9 or 10 o'clock
Now
at
if
night
you go
on
on, by the way,
Thursday.
$6 Tuesday.
Yeah.
They've upped it a buck.
Oh,
When the Silver Sluggers show up, then they got somebody checking.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right. You could. I was like, there's a lot of young people that work in theaters these days, like young, like high school.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, this is gonna be anarchy.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of children running the entire
And I
movie
wanted to
theater.
work in a theater when I was a kid.
Oh, I think it was a cool job when you were.
I wanted to
like
make
our age.
popcorn.
Like in our day during that age. Yeah, I think people.
That was what you thought was the cool part?
I thought it was.
Well,
I
wanted
was,
to
I,
make
I thought
I
you got
agree
to
with
watch
Jerry.
movie. I
just wanted to go to
wanted
movies
I
for
wanted to
free.
do the popcorn, and then I wanted to put the reel in, so and then
oh
start the
yeah,
movie.
see now that would be cool.
My cousin worked at a theater, and one time when we all got together at Christmas, he brought the giant bag of leftover popcorn. Smashing hit.
Was it like a trash bag?
I mean, the biggest
Yeah.
trash bag you've ever
Yeah,
seen in your
that's
life.
awesome.
Yeah, it brought the whole thing. And then we ate some of it, and I was like, "Can I have this?" And I just took it home with me. It was probably about 4 pounds of popcorn.
Remember the jobs
Yeah.
when we were teenagers that our friends had that we thought were cool, like
Yeah.
working in the movie theater or working at the grocery store.
Working anywhere, there's always
Yeah.
something kind of cool to that.
People loved. They thought what I did was awesome. Worked at Finish Line.
Oh, I thought you were
was
going to
really
say
cool.
Spearmint Rhino.
Well, I wasn't a kid. I was an adult. I was like
14-year-old
I was a
sensation.
I was a
Hey, but that is
16-year-old.
pretty cool.
We're letting the kids run the turntables tonight. It's all
16-year-old
kids pop.
I was actually clicking a mouse, but there was no turntable there. But yeah, that would have been a bigger story. That would have been actually probably more impressive if I was 16 and I was doing that. But yeah, when I was at Finish Line, people were like, "Oh man, you guys, when you get the new Jordans in and stuff." I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and then it was like, you had to start that portion of your life where everybody's asking you, "Hey, could you get me like a deal on
Oh, yeah,
something?"
all
Like,
the time.
no,
Yeah.
no, I can't really help you. I can't.
Or
get
can you
cheap-
hold me these shoes? I won't be in for like 2 weeks, but can you hold those?
Yeah. Oh, that. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
can't
sure
do
you
it.
got it way more. I was working in the produce section at Hy-Vee. Nobody wanted me to save them an orange.
Those bag of orange, those look primo. Save those for me. all right?
When did the kumquats come in?
Suffocated kumquats.
But it's become easier now. It's like, hey, you guys got tickets and stuff, and sometimes we're like, yeah, I guess we do. You want to go to this? Sure.
What do kids with fellow kids consider cool jobs these days?
I think golf course.
Ooh,
You work at a golf course?
Yeah, I think if
yeah.
you're,
You're working the beverage cart?
Hey, could you get me on?
either beverage cart or if you're just working the carts, like you're when the guys come in, you're cleaning the clubs off or you're taking their cart and putting it
That
back
would be
in.
a cool job.
I think that'd be a fun job. That
That
was
is
a
a
job
cool
that
kid
existed even when I was younger, but I didn't appreciate the coolness of it. Didn't have a lot of friends that did that.
No, that is definitely a cool kid job.
I,
for sure.
I see it now and I'm like, man, those kids, if I could go back then, that would be the job that I would seek.
Right. But you apparently, you don't get into golf. This is everyone's path.
Yep.
You don't get into golf until you're about 23.
Yeah, 30 for me.
That is true.
Yeah.
And then you start going from there.
Think of the networking you can do as early as like 16.
I know.
Man,
I know. Didn't think about it
amazing.
that way.
Nope. If
I
only,
never really
if only
thought
I
about
knew.
going to a golf course.
I
when
didn't
was
either.
that age. Or
I
if
didn't
I was
either.
going to a golf course, it was to mess around.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
you would walk on to the country club
Or to
on
fake
the
a-
fourth hole and
Or to fake a hole in one at Westwood.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did that. We did so for I think it was our like freshman year for
Exposed.
state tournament for baseball. We all did like a team bonding thing. So we went out to Milt's.
Oh, yeah.
and we were wearing like sweatpants with like our socks pulled up to our knees. So it was like we had the knickerbockers.
Take some
We had
absolute
like the Payne,
hacks.
we had the Payne Stewart look going on with sweatpants.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I mean it was baseball hacking.
Yeah.
So it was awful, but we had a good time.
Why
That was
does
the
it
only
go
time I ever
way
golfed.
over there?
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, why can't I hit this thing?
Yeah. Doesn't go
I'm swinging
straight.
as hard as I can.
So it's supposed to go straight,
Yeah.
not just far.
I'm just trying to pull it.
It's weird.
Coach wants me to pull a ball. Yeah, that was my extent of it. I never got golf, never was interested in golf.
We didn't have like I guess the closest thing we had to like a theme park was like Funplex, I
Funplex.
guess.
Oh, yeah, because Penny Park would have been over when you
Yeah, By the time I was coming through,
yeah, Penny Park was okay.
I don't think I knew anybody that worked at Funplex. Sadly, that would have been helpful.
That would have been a good gig if you worked at Funplex, if you worked at Penny Park,
or one of the arcades like Family Fun Center or something like that.
Hey, so I went to Funplex this past summer.
The bowling alley
for an event.
There you go.
And so I'm watching all these 14-year-old kids, boys and girls, trying to hook up with each other. And I'm like, how come this place is not more popular? What a great place. You're swimming.
Oh, I'm team Funplex.
You're not wearing many clothes.
Yeah.
Why is it not overflowing with teens?
It was popular when I was young.
It?
Well, when I was there, it was a good crowd, but I'm like, man, there should be more kids here. If I'm
Especially in that
looking
part
to
of the
hang
town.
out with my buddies,
Yeah. I wonder if you had something like that out west, would it do better or worse?
Ooh, new
I just put it in Gretna with everything else.
Yeah, if that's part of the new USA volleyball training facility.
NHL team, USA volleyball,
Funplex.
and new Funplex.
Funplex West.
Yeah.
IKEA.
Yeah, and
IKEA.
My
IKEA.
gosh.
I think
head
a
would explode.
knockoff Top Golf might be out there.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to
What's
be
the
better like
and I because I drove by it not too long ago. Right by the Pentagon in Sioux Falls, they have a knockoff Top Golf.
Oh yeah, like X Golf or
Drive
something
Shack?
like that.
Well, GolfX is indoors. It's
Sure
just like
shots or something.
X Golf or GolfX, whatever. That's more like
It's just a sim.
Yeah, it's more like Beyond Golf.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
But I know what you're talking about. They do
Or not
have
Beyond Golf,
those.
It basically looks
yeah,
the same.
Beyond Golf.
They have them like they have them on like 35 going into Minneapolis too.
Yes.
There's a Top Golf there, but then there's also the knockoff Top
It's
Golf.
called like High Golf or something.
Yeah,
It's just like something very similar.
It's the same exact thing.
There was another
It
jab
is.
I was thinking of. No. So, Connor, I don't even know if you'd remember this. Josh, you probably remember this. Remember Moby Dick water slides right off the interstate? It's so
Moby Dick
really
water
basically
slides.
right off 72nd in the interstate. They had 4 or 5 huge water slides, and each color represented a different speed.
Oh.
So when I was growing up, that was the place. It was like basically between 84th and 72nd, right off the interstate. You could see the slides from there.
Here's a Reddit post from somebody a few years ago on r/Omaha. Moby Dick water slides. A friend of mine is looking for information on the Moby Dick water slides off 72nd and I-80 that closed in the mid-90s.
Yeah, it was fun. That would have been a cool job to have too. And I remember when we went, we all had crushes on the lifeguards. They're probably like 5 years older than us. That was a thing.
Wendy Peppercorn situation.
It was kind of
1991, there's a police report about a theft of some change. 1990, there was a story about a fire that started in the weeds nearby and spread to one of the wooden decks.
Oh no, I didn't even know that. Yeah.
So this is the latest we can find information on the Moby Dick water slides.
If anybody can remember, you have to confirm this for me. I think the red slide was the fastest and the yellow was like the slowest.
Oh,
Then you had green and blue.
But the thing about those water parks and theme parks like that, especially back during that time, the imminent threat of death was really real.
Yeah.
We didn't even realize it, but it's a real life thing.
Well, that happened. What was the place in Kansas City?
Oh yeah, the Wasserbahn
or Schlitterbahn or
yeah,
something?
Schlitterbahn.
Schlitterbahn.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I went to Schlitterbahn one time and
I'd never even heard of it until that thing happened.
they had the big long water slide that spanned, it looked like it went like a mile around.
Yeah.
That one was
Well,
slow, a little bit more my speed.
So there's the legendary, because there was a documentary done probably 6-7 years ago, Action Park in New York.
Yeah.
New York and New Jersey. Google Action Park.
Okay.
It's
the most dangerous amusement park ever.
an amazing story.
Action Park
actively disregarded safety regulations.
Wow, it has a Wikipedia page. That can't be good.
And people flocked to it because it disregarded safety regulations.
Gotcha.
That's quite the slide there. Holy cow.
Action Park featured 3 separate attraction areas: the Alpine Center, Motor World, and Water World. Let's see.
There's a water slide that goes up. It's a loop.
While extremely popular, Action Park had a reputation for poorly designed rides, undertrained and underage staff, intoxicated guests and staff, and a consequently poor safety record. At least 6 people are known to have died as a result of mishaps on rides at the park.
It looks like it's in the middle of Woodstock.
Healthcare workers and local residents had nicknamed the place Traction Park, Accident Park, Class Action Park, and Friction Park.
I've never heard of this.
Yikes.
Oh, the little loop-de slide there, though, yeah, it looks like it just goes into a big pile of mud.
Yeah. That's got to be, all these things have to be way too much of like a insurance risk to even exist anymore.
Yeah.
And then you have to staff it with not 16-year-old kids who are just looking
It'll
to
be a
screw
great place to
around.
work. Yep. Well, weren't we hearing about the apparently the play? Remember, guys, the place to work was the zoo, because that's where you just hook up.
Zoo chicks.
Yeah, the zoo chicks.
Yep.
Yeah, the zoo chicks.
Shout out Star Wars
yeah.
Fiend.
So yeah, it was Star Wars Fiend. Yeah.
If I would have known somebody who worked at Tilt underneath the Westroads Mall, I would have been in great
Oh
shape.
yeah, there you go. That would have been a good one.
I
too.
love Tilt.
Yep.
I still miss it to this day.
Not to be confused with Tilted Kilt.
Definitely not to be confused with Tilted Kilt. Different things happened at that point.
Yeah.
Do you,
Some peeping.
on a different note, do you think EA Sports is just screwing with us?
No.
You think this is gonna happen?
Don't.
I swear they've been teasing this for like 2 months.
So this is the third time I've watched the hype video. It's going to be a full reveal in May.
It's real.
I mean, now I'm seeing pictures like the uniforms, which are pretty authentic.
It's time to dive in head first, Gary. It's here.
I want it, but I don't want
to get a gaming console.
It's back.
I haven't played video
Just
games
in
since I
time
left
for
Columbus.
Nebraska football to be good again this year.
I hope they've baked that into the cake.
I think
for EA
2000,
Sports.
2012, 13, last time I ever played like video games.
So one of the powerful
You got
things
a
about
system
this
anymore?
game,
I don't.
it has been proven that in places where college football is not big, like the East Coast, the video game got a lot of people into college football.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, well, maybe I should watch the real thing. But they would play college football and they'd be like, I like college football. This is awesome. We don't have college football around here.
There are definitely still a lot of questions to be answered about what the game specifically is going to look and feel like.
And what the players will look like.
But I'm just happy that it is here, kind of.
We're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, that's an official acknowledgement that the game is coming.
I want to be able to stand in line at midnight for this game.
Me too.
That's that's one of my goals this summer.
Second Tuesday in July 2000, whatever. I was at Gamers. I was in line. 72nd in Dodge.
And then I would go to Best Buy on 48th, and then you would play it until like the wee hours of the morning, like 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Update the guys in the roster. I was drinking Monster, just absolutely getting after it.
I think I made myself every position other than a lineman. I played a little DB. I created myself as a wideout, as a quarterback.
Well, then you got to do the classic, like take UTEP to the national championship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever did in the Texas school.
That was never my team.
What group of 5 school are you taking to the Natty when you get this thing?
I did at Toledo. I know I did 1 year at
Toledo.
There's
Toledo's
no skill in taking Georgia to the national championship.
Exactly.
No skill involved.
New Mexico State.
That's good.
Oh, I did actually. I
Lobos?
was really into the MAC because I also took Northern Illinois because I like their all black uniforms.
Our go-to was always Delaware State.
Ooh,
They were
the helmets?
the Hornets. Yeah, we liked the look of that team for whatever
The
reason.
Blue Hens.
No,
Delaware
State.
State. Blue
Delaware
Hens.
State.
Yeah.
Not Flacco's.
I like Delaware, the Blue Hens, because they had the same helmet as Michigan.
Yeah.
I think I did UAB a couple times back in the day.
It's a good one.
Delaware got called up to some conference.
Did we do that because it was like we made it? We were like, well, I know personally, I wouldn't be believable as like a Nebraska player or a Alabama player. So I'm like, you know what? But I could have made a MAC team. So I'm going to put myself on a MAC team.
But it wasn't like I never did the solo. Like I put myself on this. I was the coach.
Oh, you're the coach.
I was, and I would.
Well, I mean,
I would build and all of a sudden I'd have Western Kentucky recruiting top 5 in the country, and we'd be winning national championships.
How did you have Bobby Petrino on your coaching staff already? Wow, that's impressive. Holy cow!
Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see what they do, like how they handle the transfer portal. What that like?
Yeah, that will be kind of
Is Dylan Raiola going to be QB number 15, or is he going to be Dylan Raiola? That'll be really interesting.
And then I want to know if you commit to having
This
your
one is.
name, image, likeness in the game, how much are they paying you?
Yeah.
Right.
Does everybody get the same, or do they pay?
Yeah.
Like Carson Beck is going to get paid more.
Yeah. So when they had, it was the O'Bannon one. I had a buddy who was playing college football. He was represented on the game, right? And they paid out all those guys.
Yeah.
I think he said he got like $500 or something like that when that whole thing got settled. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. Now, you cost us a video game for a decade, so congratulations.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost a generation of college football fans.
It's true.
Kids went to do something else. All of a sudden, kids started playing soccer because they had FIFA.
Kids started playing,
or they went straight to the NFL because they had Madden.
Fork knife.
Oh, it was appointment retail for us. Like if maybe I was working, I couldn't get there on the release. Like we'd have like a group of friends that would wait in line the night before at like Walmart or wherever you could get the game, and then whoever got it first, we would just make a day of it. The very next day, we could all get together. And we would play from like probably like 10 a.m. to like midnight.
By the way, on the
we were nerds.
On the slides at Moby Dick Park, Brian says you got the slides backwards. Red was the slowest on the right, and then it got faster as you went to the left.
Red for stop,
with the yellow being the fastest.
Yellow was the fastest.
Yeah, that's what Brian says.
Yellow
for some
for
reason,
caution.
For some reason, I thought yellow was the slow.
What would the entrance to Moby Dick look like?
Like any other water park. It was. I mean, these slides.
You didn't
were
have to
really
go
big.
in through a giant whale's mouth or
why
something
was
like that.
Why was it called Moby Dick?
Just associated with water.
That question,
I don't know.
Do you associate Moby Dick with water?
Yeah.
Yes.
A whale.
Hit send now.
Whales in water, and hey, we got water slides. It sounds like a winner. That's the best I could come up with.
Hey, I'm excited for some.
You might. Hey, by the way, you're gonna have to like carve out about 10 to 15 minutes because Josh will just read the replies.
Yeah, no. Well,
we did not see like Queequeg, or we didn't see like Ishmael or anything. I don't, at least not that I remember. There was no like actual characters of Moby Dick. So
what are we hitting this year for Nebraska baseball scorigami?
I love that the 51 burger right there.
So here's the most likely options that we have. Now this is on the good side. Nebraska has never won a baseball game 19-1.
They never have.
Never have. Never won a game 19-1. They've never won a game 17-7, 14-11.
That feels doable.
God, I feel
seems like possible.
I feel like that was a windy Sunday at Wichita.
South Dakota State, Nebraska will play a 14-11 game.
So you think we are getting a scorigami this year?
Yes, we will.
All right. Nebraska, there's some losses in here. Nebraska's never lost a game 15-4. They've never lost a game 15-10, 15-11, or 15-12.
Never will.
So magic number is 15. You got a good chance to get some scorigamis this year.
Boy,
Maybe with this offense, they won't be scoring 15.
Now, Nebraska has only had, and it was kind of a cheat code. Last year, they had their most recent scorigami, which was a 16-16 tie. Their one tie of last year. Kind of a cheat code.
That was the what game was that? That was early in the year.
San Diego.
That's right.
And so
the time limit they had
their most recent real life scorigami.
Well, they were up by like 10 in that game too.
Was at Arizona State in 2020, right before they canceled the season. 18-10 they won. That was their most recent real life.
Ben and I were doing that game.
I'm sure you were there.
I remember that. There were a lot of home runs that day.
18-10. Was that was there a torque bomb in there?
Yep, Torkelson was in there. Because the year before you had Torkelson, and then who was the oh God, I'm trying to remember.
It was the year before that Torkelson came here and hit one out to Interstate 180, right?
But they had the other guy, the catcher. What the hell was his name? He was really
a big leaguer?
I think so.
I don't know.
Because they had 2 draft picks in the year they came to Lincoln.
They actually accomplished 2 scorigamis during that series.
Huh.
Whoa.
They won 18-10, and they also lost 14-1.
Yeah.
Hey, so back to the batting practice that Torkelson put on at Haymarket.
Amazing.
Where he did an Ichiro where he was able to hit the foul pole on command. Like back to back. They said, hey, hit the foul pole, and he did it. That's like an Ichiro trick. Like Ichiro somehow, like one of the things when he's messing around in spring training, will hit balls off of the
he could do whatever he wanted to.
Torkelson hit 2 of them. And then, of course, he hit the one that landed in the middle of the parking lot way out beyond right field.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And the one over the bathroom in left field, it went all so there's the fence, the stadium fence to hit a home run. And then there's a fence behind it for the grounds to the ballpark.
Yeah.
It's probably 50, 60, 70 feet behind that. He cleared that on the fly. I mean, just some great. And, you get those days in March and April at Haymarket Park where the wind is going straight out.
Hey, how did
Place is a launching pad.
How did we, Jennifer Coolidge? It just
never mind. I'm thinking of Hunter Bishop. He was an outfielder.
It's not just White Lotus, but she's everywhere.
Every commercial has her in it.
Who's this?
Jennifer Coolidge.
Stifler's mom.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's
funny.
She's big now.
She was on the commercial.
Yeah, like
every
commercial.
commercial.
Yeah, she's like Travis Kelce.
She
So
is.
now that football season's over, the Chiefs will disappear, and then it's just Jennifer Coolidge.
Is Jennifer Coolidge like Travis Kelce? Poll question.
Poll question coming up.
She was on what was the show on CBS with the two ladies?
Two Broke Girls?
The View.
Two Broke Girls.
Oh, she was on that?
Yeah,
I
you guys probably
never
didn't
watched that.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It was some
There's still a
terrible
lot of
acting.
reruns, though. They still somehow exist.
It would pop up.
Well, you can mute the TV.
It would pop.
Yeah.
It would always be the show that would
Just
pop
change
up after the show that I was. I must have been watching episodes of like How I Met Your Mother or something like
There was
that.
no. It would always come. Did you watch The Office? Right.
Yeah.
There was always a block of Office, and then that would come on, and
Right.
it always pissed
But
me
that
off.
was a CBS show, wasn't it? Two Broke Girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was after. How I
Okay,
Met-
maybe it was How I
It
Met
was.
Your
I think it was
Mother.
after How I Met Your
All right.
Mother.
Yeah.
Terrible finish, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Tough-
horrible.
tough
one,
hang.
one of the worst.
Tough hang.
I have found a website that sells Moby Dick water slide T-shirts,
Oh,
Does it?
Omaha.
as well as other defunct Omaha businesses.
Really?
Whoa.
Like what
Whoa.
else?
What's
Would
now-
you like a 49er lounge T-shirt?
I
Okay.
remember here. I didn't have a lot of emotional attachment to the 49er Lounge, but I remember hearing about it.
Bohemian Cafe T-shirt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe you want a Sprite Night at Peony Park
Yes!
T-shirt.
Fight night. Yes.
What is the website?
RetroOmaha.com.
Didn't they have a shop downtown?
There's a Skateland T-shirt.
Nice.
Razzle Dazzle.
Wait, Razzle Dazzle's Council Bluffs.
There's a
Come on.
There's a grandmother's T-shirt.
Nice.
Putt Putt Family Fun Center.
Oh, I want a Moby Dick water slide one, and maybe, just maybe, yeah.
Oh, here's the one
How did grandmothers not survive?
right there, Nick. What's that say?
Oh, the Bluejay bar.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
J with
Yeah.
the beer.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I might get the J shirt for
I
$22.
is the Sprite Night one? Is it green?
No, it is gray with green.
Okay, so there's green in it. Yeah.
I guess you can get it in a multitude of colors.
Okay.
So,
retro.
A lot of Bohemian
Did they
Cafe
buy the
stuff.
rights from Sweet 98?
I don't know.
Is there a shirt with Hot Scott on there or Rocket?
1019 The Edge.
Oh wow.
Hey, you know what? One of the
It was,
best.
that's
music
where
festivals-
Josh's buddy used to do a talk
Mhm,
show.
Yeah.
One of the best music festivals was Edge Fest.
K Rock.
It was great.
Yourself a nice K Rock T-shirt.
93 K Rock, yeah. Hinky dinky.
Do they have any K-Car t-shirts?
They have.
Oh, that'd be fun.
They have KQ98 T-shirts.
All right, I found the best one. Applause video.
Mhm.
Nice.
If you know, you know. Applause video. That was great.
WOW radio
Dude.
T-shirts.
The Mai Tai.
Something called Muse Adult Theater.
No, I don't think I heard.
Right, not what you think.
Yeah.
Brandeis.
Oh,
Burger
yeah.
Chef.
Mickey's Razzle Dazzle. Oh my gosh, I have a buddy I need to get that shirt for.
Oh, there are Coil T-shirts.
Are there?
Dude, this is
So, wait,
amazing.
This site is it's unbelievable. Senior Matias?
Coil Good Guy and Coil Rock of the Midwest. T-shirts.
there you go.
Good Guys
God.
hit line. Have we got a line for you?
Send it to Neil.
Neil, you getting any money back on these shirts?
No, yeah.
1019 The Edge. That is awesome.
Neil created all these radio stations, right?
He's getting royalties in his semi-retirement.
Oh, 84th and Center drive-in T-shirts.
Oh, here we go. Falstaff beer with the shield on it. That's a good looking shirt.
Aladdin's Castle.
This is just guys naming businesses.
It really is.
It's awesome.
I finally found a Family Fun Center one. There we go.
Good. Yeah, I hadn't seen one of those. Okay, they got some bowling ones. There's like a bunch.
now-
Anchor In. You got to get an Anchor
Do
In
they
one.
have any Ranch Bowl?
Good call.
Good
call.
question.
Not that I've
they-
run into
They
yet.
better.
They have Zooland at Richmond Gordon.
Oh, this is never mind. I'm looking alphabetically. Okay, let's see. I'll try to get to the R's.
Check the backs.
Brandeis.
There's one that says Omaha, you can't beat our meat.
What about what's that place that closed on Center over there? Petros. Will we get a Petros shirt on
there
here?
should be, yeah.
I don't see a Ranch Bowl one. They might be a little protective of that
That's
brand.
terrible.
Interesting. Kansas City Omaha Kings.
Millard Roadhouse.
Now that would be a popular one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. King Fong Cafe.
Yeah. The Post and Nickel. Awesome.
Okay, yeah, this is really, really good.
We're
Oh
all
my
just going to dump a bunch of money in this
Yeah,
website today.
I
got-
apologize.
We got stores. We've got stores. Oh, the 20s. There's the
Oh.
20s.
Classic.
Where's the tilt shirts? I want the tilt.
God, I cannot
one
believe they
immediately.
don't have Ranch Bowl.
What an amazing website. Good job by retroomaha.com.
Is Amados on there?
Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah,
People
there's
forget about Amados.
Doesn't that still exist?
No, it was
No.
at 64th and Center.
Right. That's not there
The
anymore.
owner passed
Yeah,
away.
owner passed
right?
away.
Oh.
The rest of the family didn't want to continue to run it because it was a family-run business.
The family run, and I'm sure they had been called several times
Oh,
about that plot
that
of
prime-
land. Yeah.
And now it's a bank.
Didn't one of you guys bring up
Texas Bank.
Skeets not that long ago? Because Skeets is on this one. Skeets carry out.
We were talking about Lil Jon this week, yes.
You are doing work for this person.
Yeah. I mean, no free shout outs, but this one's definitely free.
But this is
this is pretty. Oh gosh, the French Cafe, the
Mr.
Underground.
C's Steakhouse.
But how could they sell like T-shirts for our radio station? We get nothing.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, there's officially no ranch bowl.
Connor, I have found a Petros t-shirt.
Hell yeah.
I am. So many of these things are amazing, but no ranch bowl. There's got to be something behind that.
I imagine that's got some licensing.
Yeah, I think
involved.
you're right.
Shakey's Pizza.
Oh, Shakey's Pizza.
I don't think that
This is
just
so cool.
Just imagine what's going to be on here in about 15 years.
Shaky. Let's just go ahead and start giving them inventory.
I'll just give them some so they can stay ahead of everything. So as soon as it's done, they've got the shirt out. You don't have to create anything.
Huskamania in the style of Hulkamania.
Nice.
Mad Dog Vachon, Omaha Zone.
Rest in peace.
Okay.
Omaha Dodgers.
Good job. Good find, Josh. Good
This
find.
is an amazing find.
Omaha Knights.
Oh, wait, the
Omaha
old
Exarban Knights?
ones or just the 2-year Omaha Exarban
This
Knights?
looks like a very 70s logo.
Okay. That's probably the old
There's
one.
got to be for Exarban a horse T-shirt.
You would think so.
Yeah, like the racetrack?
Piccolo Pete's.
I would imagine so.
Pickles. The record place.
I could spend all day here.
I could too.
Oh, look at that. Our guy Nick Batters at the Storm Chasers did a scoregami too for the Storm Chasers. Storm Chasers Agami. It's kind of cool.
Now, I assume this goes back to the other iterations of the team formerly known,
Definitely.
currently known as the Storm Chasers.
Definitely.
Okay.
Patty Murphy's.
Definitely. Most recent Storm Chasers scoregami, a 20-1 loss to the Iowa Cubs. I think I was at that game.
I think they'll probably have a lot of those of late. Just odd scores.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta quit looking at this thing. 'cause
Right? That's what I just
Yeah, you have to just stop now.
Everything is just like a cool discovery.
People are calling in now. They're gonna be like, "What's this website?
What's the website?
Where's this at?
No, make them call in and give us in 15 years what's going to be on this.
I like that one better. Yeah.
1620 the zone.
Yep.
No. We'll live forever.
Oh.
Well, maybe because we flipped to an FM format.
Yes,
we would
exactly.
We would not be 16.
1019 the zone.
There you go.
That's the new one. Better grab that one. before we take it.
1019 kegs and eggs.
Kegs and eggs. The Kegs and Eggs Show.
All right.
That's cool.
I'll have fun.
That's cool, man.
We will. It'll be a good day today. I don't know why, but that's what I'm making the proclamation that it's going to be a good day today.
The sun's shining.
Yep. It's a little cold out there, though. That's Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha and everlevelconcrete.com. It's Thursday. We'll start things off next.
That's the Crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
If you're Iowa women's basketball, you got Caitlin Clark, gives you hope. Yep. Over the weekend, Nebraska softball had their fan day. And lines everywhere.
Yes.
Jordy Ball gives you hope. All you need is somebody that gives you hope. Maybe Nebraska football has found that guy that gives you hope every time you show up to play a game. Michael Jordan gives you hope. You know that you got a chance, even if you have your worst night, you're going to have a chance to win a game.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies for your Thursday with a high this afternoon in Omaha of 40 degrees and northerly winds up to 15 miles an hour. Becoming cloudy tonight with a chance of snow overnight. Totals look to remain under an inch, wrapping up mainly by tomorrow Friday morning's commute. A low overnight of 26, only up to 33 Friday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Woodhouse Hyundai offers a streamlined car buying experience tailored to you. With the most versatile lineup of sedans and SUVs like the Hyundai Elantra or Santa Fe. Plus, your choice of standard engines, plug-in hybrid, or fully electric vehicles. And when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Start your deal online at woodhousehyundai.com today. Browse our inventory, personalize your payments, apply for financing, and more. Convenience delivered every time. This is Woodhouse Hyundai. Right now, lease the 2024 Hyundai Kona SE for $199 per month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. First payment $2,999 down plus $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/24. See dealer for details.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
College basketball's biggest tournament is coming, and it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Download your new bookie before all of the March action at circasports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for acne, allergies, chronic diseases, depression, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Thursday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Odson with you. We'll have to keep Josh from browsing his new favorite website during the show.
I've closed the tab. Now, maybe when you talk to Jacob, start maybe shopping a little.
Dive back in a little bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Jacob Padilla will join the show. We'll talk about the Bluejays and their upcoming, what's the word I said out there to somebody? Plight.
Plight, yes.
Their plight, which is the next 6 games of the regular season being difficult each in their own way, and then the postseason right after that. No more layups for Creighton. So we'll go back to the other night. And of course, we'll look forward as well with young Jacob. Michael Bruntz in the noon hour. We'll talk football and hoops with him. And we finish off our baseball circuit with a representative from each of the local baseball schools with Evan Porter, the Omaha baseball coach. They open up this weekend in Jonesboro at Arkansas State. They went south. Some go east, some go north, some go further south. They went south enough, I think. Evan Porter and the Mavs.
Just a little dip.
So we will have that at 1:00 for you. That's the lineup, powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Love to hear from you guys in the show today. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. You could call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer. on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor at 1620thezone.com or Joshua at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. We say good morning to our YouTube watchers this morning. Those of you who are joining us on your big screens at home or your small screens at work, whether it's on YouTube, 1620 The Zone TV, or at 1620thezone.com, conveniently located on the front page. Either way, we are there for you. All right, some other things today we'll get into. Actually, a lot of the stuff that I had, kind of lined up for yesterday, given that we had such a full show. So we'll dive back into some of those things, and obviously the new, very sad development in Kansas City. We were around for the part of the parade that was goofy and joyful, and then not too long after that, it got sideways on Kansas City. So we'll discuss that at least a little bit during the show today. Things I'm triggered about: Ohio State coach Hotboards for basketball, Major League Baseball new uniforms. We're not talking about like designs on City Connect uniforms. We're talking about Major League Baseball once again hating baseball, and
these things are trash, and you all need to hear about it.
Outsourcing their jersey design and jersey manufacturing to Fanatics. And who would have thought that was
Fanatics has such a sterling reputation in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not the only one. Players very mad about this, so we can discuss that during the show. We have found the person who told the NHL to come to Omaha, and he's got other plans as well. We'll go a little bit deeper on Nebraska and where they landed at in the first SP Plus rankings. I never talked about the Royals' new stadium and all the quote-unquote changes that are coming down the pipe for this summer. Like we're just kind of setting the stage for new legislation and NCAA rules and things like that kind of season. And once again, there's chatter about the NCAA tournament and who gets in and who plays in it and all of these things, which once again, many people are like, hey, let's change up the NCAA tournament.
Why?
Everyone before the whole tournament says every single year, this is perfect. Leave this alone. Please do not touch this. And yet the people in charge are like, no, I think there's a lot of things that are wrong with the NCAA tournament. I think we need to go in and get our hands dirty a little bit and just try some other stuff and see what works.
You know what's better than a 16 beating a 1? A 24 beating a 1.
You like that? Just think about if the worst power conference team you can imagine wins in the first game of the NCAA tournament. That is most certainly what we all want. All right. We are off and running here, here on a Thursday. Poll questions, a few of them up for you already at Happer Show. Would love it if you voted on those two of them. In fact, do you associate Moby Dick with water? And is Jennifer Coolidge like Travis Kelce?
Laid out a fine case in the last segment.
And then, of course, the buzz this morning in the college football world, the NCAA EA Sports college football game is closer now than ever. Closer now than it was yesterday. Anyway, we have real acknowledgement that this is actually happening. I understand there's people out there who aren't going to believe this until it's literally in their hands or downloaded on their Xbox or PS5, whatever it might be. But this is a step. This is a step. As you know me, Josh, I like to just dive in. I like to get, if it puts me at the risk of being hurt, then it puts me at the risk of being hurt.
You love when an artist says new music at midnight.
Yeah.
And then boom, it's just there.
And then it happens.
Wait.
Now, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get mad, but that's a risk that I'm willing to take. I like the build up to things. I like the excitement. Josh likes a changing of the guard.
I love a changing of the guard.
As we all know. All right, so we'll talk Jays with Jacob here in just a little bit. We'll come back and talk about how something so happy turned to something not so happy in Kansas City yesterday, and various things that I'm triggered about. We return in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
So, Isabella, you're in high school earning college credits?
Tuition-free college credits.
Tuition-free? Your mom's got a...
Love that.
Hey, Maya, hold up. You'll graduate from high school.
But my college gen ed's knocked out. Tuition-free.
That's got to save you and your parents thousands in college tuition. How about you, Ian?
I'll be debt-free thanks to MCC.
Earn college credits while still in high school, tuition-free. Get started at mccneb.edu/tuition-free. Classes start March 7th.
This is me at MCC.
Shop Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram during Ram Truck Month and save on the entire lineup of heavy-duty trucks. Like the powerful and capable new Ram 3500 with an array of safety and tech features that will take your driving experience to the next level. Right now, get up to $15,500 off MSRP on our lineup of 2024 Ram 2500s and 2024 Ram 3500s. The most advanced Ram heavy-duty pickups ever. Get started today at WoodhouseCDJRBellevue.com or WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com to find your next truck. Based on standard and available features offered with approved credit, tax title license extra, Woodhouse discount of $3,644, manufacturer incentive of $9,856, $1,000 for qualifying trade and $1,000 with finance through Chrysler Capital, $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/24. See dealer for details.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you know a high school senior who'd like a $12,000 college scholarship? Be sure to tell them that the Salvation Army is now seeking nominations for the DJ's Hero Award scholarships. We're looking for Nebraska high school seniors who have overcome adversity and who are doing the most good in their communities. The application deadline is Wednesday, March 13th, so nominate your hero today. Just go to djshero.org for more information. That's djshero.org.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
A little tease here. Hey, I'm excited to bring you what basically will end up being another episode of Connor Does Things.
Love that show.
What did we call it? Connor does things that people think he can't do.
Connor tries to do things.
Connor tries to do things, something like that.
They're all on our YouTube page.
I didn't really play it the right way because what a person who is good at this would do would be like I went down to Creighton baseball practice yesterday and put on a glove and see what we could handle. But what a person who is good at this would have done is like taken a picture and had done the side eyes emoji or something like that. Something's coming. Something that people are definitely going to enjoy and be excited for is coming. So yeah, we'll look forward to that probably early next week at some point. But I don't really move a whole lot these days. I got to get back into slow pitch softball shape, Josh. So
this is the quickest way for you to do it.
My knees are maybe a little skinned up today, and just use parts of my body that I wasn't really used to using for a period of time yesterday. So it's a lot of fun down at Creighton baseball practice. We've got Creighton basketball shooting free throws and missing clunking 3-pointers. And we got Creighton baseball taking some fungos from Ed Service and the boys yesterday.
And then nobody laughed at you, did they? I can't have them laughing at my guy.
I don't. I was pretty locked in.
Okay.
I was out at the hot corner. The whole team was watching over on the first, right over by first base.
Gotta block out the noise.
And the one time I went to the ground, I don't know how graceful it looked, but I did hear a roar, a small roar.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a positive one or a laugh, whatever it might have been.
Sure.
But still get after it a little bit at the hot corner. Don't know about the arm. Might not still be there. We moved around a little bit yesterday, so that was fun. Also, happy Caitlin Clark Day. Today's the day. Everyone.
Today is the day.
Notably, it wasn't Sunday.
You would have thought
people forget about that.
It could have been.
Yeah, especially when she only needed 39 to break the record, and she had 31 after the third quarter. You're like, this is donezo. This is in the bag.
Seems pretty.
Did you see Nebraska after they won that game? It was like they won the national championship. I hope she says something again today. I really do. I hope she's never able to drop this. Never stop talking about this.
Today would be the day that, okay, if you say something today,
we've officially gone way overboard.
You're perma-triggered.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's probably something to that.
Mm-hmm.
Might be perma-triggered. All right. So yesterday we were keeping track of the Chiefs parade after they won the Super Bowl back in Kansas City near Union Station, and we were commenting on how Willie Gay was laying down in the middle of the street with his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
We just missed the part where Travis Kelce, with a blood alcohol level of 0.29, got up and tried to sing "Friends in Low Places." Man,
Isaiah Pacheco had a goat.
Now I know that guy has no. Before we get to the sad part, I know that guy has no shame, but that was rough. I never want to be that drunk in public. I don't want to. And then if I am that drunk in public, please don't hand me a microphone. Please don't hand me a microphone. And it got to the point where he was about a verse into the song where they tried to just take it from him, and he just had a death vice grip on it. He's like, I'm not dropping this microphone. This is my life now. This is what I have.
I belt out songs at an incredibly high volume.
I thought Viva Las Vegas was endearing. I thought that was fun. We might have taken it a step. It's just a little too drunk for my liking.
Maybe went to the well one too many times.
You guys know this one? And then he pulled out his phone to read the lyrics on it, and he realized that he couldn't see his phone.
If you don't know the lyrics, my man.
Yeah, maybe just don't sing karaoke to it. Just rip out another Viva Las Vegas, and everybody will like that, and then they'll...
Got to be one you know all the words to.
But yeah, not long after our show ended yesterday, things got sideways in Kansas City. I'd be crazy if I told you that I didn't go to an event sort of like that, where it's packed into a very concentrated area, whether it's outside and there's 500,000 people there, or whether it's at a sporting event or something like that. And I didn't have to think about that. I'd be lying to you if I told you that wasn't the case. And so that's sort of where we've gotten, unfortunately. And yesterday a whole bunch of people got hurt, and one person who was a local radio DJ in Kansas passed away, being shot at a parade. A victory parade. So, I'm not going to get on here and talk about guns and who should have them and who shouldn't have them. Although I will throw in one, which is, I don't know why anybody needs an automatic rifle for anything, but that's just me, Josh.
Or at the very least at a parade.
Trust me, I don't want the smoke on the guns thing today. I don't want to talk. I don't have well thought out enough takes on that stuff. but I feel like that's just kind of common sense. But there's a lot of things that have happened in this country that haven't been common sense. Wow. And so it was tough scene yesterday. It was crazy how it went from so happy, everything's a joke. We got drunk guys laying on the ground with their shoes off and shirts off, and Travis Kelce's saying gibberish on a microphone in front of a stage, into immediate like, oh, something's wrong here, and then panic, and everybody sort of spread out. It hits you hard. It hits in a day that was so celebratory. It's just sad.
We reached out to Mackenzie Nelson, who was on our show last week covering the Chiefs in Las Vegas. Local TV reporter, she was there.
The media, by the way, did a
great job of getting the information out
there. Well, you go into like that mode really quick. It becomes something completely different. Hey, I'm taking a video of a kid who came from Florida and drove up here overnight because he wanted to be at the parade, or like a drunk guy who was talking about how many championships the Chiefs were going to win in the next 10 years. And then immediately your next video is like, hey, what'd you see? Where were you? And what was your vantage point of what happened? So yeah, sorry, continue.
No, we reached out to her. She did a great job of, okay, the sports hat is coming off. I am now a breaking news reporter hat. She was, getting the video, talking to the people. Her and her team were all safe and present and accounted for, which is great to hear. But this season has sort of been a weird one for the Chiefs, as they've become this dynastic team, and they've sort of embraced we might be the villains role.
Yeah.
And this kind of humanized them for me in a way that I obviously had not expected, but you hear the stories of players,
just doing anything they can,
staying with children. Like, okay, this is clearly a lost child. I'm an adult. I need to stay with this child. Like, here, oh, you found your parents. Here, take my hat, my shirt, my WWE championship belt. Like, you can have it. I don't need it. It'll make your day. You had a bad day.
From Jesse on the text line, I'm curious how all these players are supposed to handle a tragedy when they're all hammered. I thought about that too.
Yeah.
Like, it just so quickly goes from that to all of a sudden you're in a real life situation. Hopefully the players, this is from Jesse. Hopefully the players weren't put in a position to address it when they aren't fit to say the right thing. I'd add to that anything.
Yeah. I thought they did a good job of, and I don't mean this negatively, saying the bare minimum yesterday. Like, not in a state to make those statements yesterday, but prayers up, thoughts going out there. We will address this later.
Amazing Daniel writes in, he says, this is not a criticism. I understand why you're not having that talk here, but the fact that everybody is so nervous to even discuss how to fix it in general is the kind of core of the problem. I don't disagree with that at all.
Right.
I just don't think this is the right forum for it, probably. And I'm not, I'm not the right guy for it either.
We're not the show for that. I have those opinions. I have those thoughts, but we're a bit of jokesters.
Yeah, this is the show about farts.
Oh, I got some fart jokes if you need them.
So sad. I mean, that's sort of what I was thinking about all of yesterday. Like, all right, I knew a bunch of people that were there in close proximity to where this all went down, and it's just like, wow, 1 second you're looking around, it's the happiest place on earth. You're hugging everyone, and it's a victory parade, and you're just among people who think the same as you because you have this common bond and that you're fans of the Kansas City Chiefs, or you'd like to drink, whatever it might be. And
I just heard there were beers here, so it came out.
And then the next second, it turns into like a fight for survival, which is obviously not right. Obviously, something is off with that picture. All right, we'll come back. So we'll transition out of that into Creighton basketball. Jacob Padilla of Hurrdat Sports joins us. What's up next for Creighton? It doesn't look easy. And where's the team at right now as they head into a pivotal juncture? Next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Brianna, look at you, graduating already.
Yeah, knocked out my gen eds in 2 years at MCC.
And now you're off to
Finish my 4-year degree at the university.
That was fast. I'll bet your mom
Loves that. We saved thousands in tuition.
Now that's smart.
That's Metropolitan Community College.
Knock out your gen eds in 2 years before transferring to a 4-year university. Get started at mccneb.edu/me. Classes start March 7th.
This is me at MCC.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Hanley@1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Woodhouse Lincoln wants to redefine your driving experience with our stunning lineup of Lincoln vehicles. Lease a 2023 Lincoln Nautilus for $499 a month for 39 months, 10,500 miles per year. Come visit us in store off 114th and Giles Road or online anytime at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, security deposit waived, $1,500 down payment plus first payment, and $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/2024. See dealer for details.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the roofery.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more DaVinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys. Make the right call.
Omaha native Frankie Fiddler is top 20 in the NCAA Division I scoring and leading the Omaha Maverick men's basketball team in a run for the conference title. The Maverick men are at home against South Dakota on Thursday and South Dakota State on Saturday. And Maverick hockey only has 4 regular season home games left on February 23rd and 24th when they take on Colorado College in a top 20 matchup. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now. Call the box office at 402-554-MAVS or omavs.com/tigs.
42 Degrees is showing you even more love by extending our Valentine specials through this Sunday. Kratom and Delta products, buy one, get one half off. 25% off CBD melatonin products. 30% off premium pre-rolls from Top Shelf, Buds Burn, and Tyson. Cube disposables, 4 for $20. And 42 Degrees gummies, 20% off. These deals end Sunday. 42 Degrees, your destination for top-tier cannabis, second to none product selection, and exceptional service. By your mom's house.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
And now, the only cure for our basketball Jones. Hail Varsity's Jacob Padilla on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Baby.
That's why.
Creighton's Baylor Shireman named to Naismith Trophy mid-season team. He is one of 30 players named to the 2024 Jersey Mike's Naismith Trophy Men's Player of the Year mid-season team. One of the top players in the country. He's been Creighton's, basically representative on these big time awards lists, although you could arguably choose any one of the big three for Creighton. We'll talk more about the Jays here with Jacob Padilla of Her Dat Sports joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Jacob, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I think I prefer the Wooden Award as kind of the preeminent college basketball award because I vote for that one.
Me too.
Hey, look at you. Look at us.
I love voting for things. I love being given a vote for that. Shout out Mike Babcock.
Hey, that's where I got my vote too. He's the best.
So I think Baylor is the appropriate representative. I think he'll have the best looking kind of stats on here, but I do appreciate the sort of retrospective look at, those three and Ryan Kalkbrenner, Trey Alexander, and Baylor Shireman the other night by Mac as they sort of had, an easy win. And then you got the chance to kind of, look around and take stock of where you're at right now. But somehow I think Baylor's importance, I don't know what the right word would be, Jacob, is still underrated. And I'm not sure how, because according to basically everyone, he's one of the best players in the country.
Yeah, it's really impressive what he's done. It'll be fascinating to have the conversations at the end of the year in terms of conference awards and how these guys shake out. But from start to finish, I think Baylor's been the most steady contributor on the team. And obviously we know how important Ryan Kalkbrenner is and what Trey Alexander is able to do when he's got it going. And he's obviously made a surge in conference play to kind of catch up to Baylor in terms of all-around impact and from a statistical standpoint. But yeah, I mean, when you look at Baylor's season as a whole and just all the ways he impacts the game, the improvements he's made in all facets, to the point where defensively they're putting him on some tougher matchups. In addition to everything he's doing offensively, he's initiating far more than he did last year. He's finding ways to score inside the arc, even when the threes aren't falling. He's dunking on people
with his offhand.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. Yeah,
and then with people slapping him in the nose. Yeah,
that one was rough. Although the one dunk he did miss was with his left hand, so maybe he needs to just stick with the right hand dunking.
I guess
the rest
so.
Of the way.
When he got here, Jacob, I thought and then you obviously put him in with last year's group, and it was. I'll be interested to see what the role is, and then he kind of ended up being. This is oversimplification of what he brought to the table last year, but like he kind of ended up being like microwave guy. He would heat up for stretches, and then it got to the point where the fan base was kind of like, yeah, I mean he's shooting kind of bad shots at times, and I was like, all right, hold on, take the good with the bad, but his consistency, even though he doesn't have great shooting nights every night. His consistency, the playmaking he does, and he brings a lot in the rebounding category, and then obviously in the playmaking, assists, and all that stuff category. I did not see this coming from him. I would not have seen this coming from him almost 2 years ago when he got to Creighton. This has been a heck of a development project.
Yeah, I think last year was the big feeling out process. Obviously coming in and trying to fit in with the guys that were already here and had played such big roles previously, and making the leap from the Summit League to the Big East. Like that's the massive step up there in terms of the competition you're going to face. And so you can see him playing a bit hesitant at times, trying not to do too much, trying to fit in. And Max even talked about that from a leadership standpoint. Like this year, he's so much more vocal than he was in the past because he didn't want to step on toes, and he was trying to figure out, all right, where do I belong on this team? And you could see as the season goes on that he kind of settled in. He started to get a little bit more confident, a little bit more assertive. But this year, it's just in all facets, it's a step forward. And I think Mac mentioned it. Like he came back because he knew this was possible. He believed he could do this. He knew there was still more out there for him to accomplish. And you can see this year just the way he's playing. He's maximizing everything that he's capable of. It's just the way he attacks the basket. How many times did he get chased off the line and put on the deck and jump stop in the lane and end up just looking to kick it out or whatever? Like he's putting his head down and he's going. He doesn't care anymore about, what if I get blocked, or I probably can't get all the way, so I'll just try to keep the ball moving or whatever. Now he's aggressive. Now he understands how to get the most out of what's available to him from a physical standpoint and from a skill set standpoint, and then the leadership on top of that.
If you go back sorry to cut you off there, Jacob. If you go back from a team perspective here, following that UConn loss where it looked super disjointed, next going back to that triple overtime game at Seton Hall, they won 3 in a row. Seton Hall, Xavier, DePaul. Then they lost the 2 against Butler where they didn't miss a shot, and then Providence on the road in overtime. Had a great win on the road at Xavier, and then beat Georgetown as well as they were supposed to beat them the other night. And you go into the final 6, I don't, maybe it's the 2 losses that were thrown in there that sort of throw people off a little bit, but they're playing really well right now. Like, and Ed Cooley mentioned it. Ed Cooley mentioned many things the other night, but Ed Cooley was like, man, I just thought Creighton played really, really well. And, Sean Miller talked about it at Xavier, like, hey, they are one of the toughest teams to defend and beat in the country with all the options that they have and what they do and what they scheme up. Have we seen for the last, low key for the last 3 or 4 weeks here, Creighton play close to, their ceiling? Is this where you thought that they could get to?
Yeah, I think that the Butler loss probably alters the perception. Dropping that one at home really hurts because obviously this year protecting home court is the whole thing in college basketball, considering nobody can seemingly win on the road. So when you drop that one, like the Providence loss, I don't think would have bothered anybody if it wasn't coming off another loss at home.
Yeah.
To where it's back-to-back now. You've kind of felt like you're a little bit of a skid here or whatever. It's that Butler. And again, going back through it, like I think that's more of a just outlier game than anything else. And pointed to any kind of flaws in the team that will kill them down the stretch of the season. So yeah, I mean, you look at it as a whole, they are playing. I mean, the offense is starting to settle in. They're finding ways to use everybody, to take advantage of everybody's skill set. Guys are starting to get a little bit more consistent. And I mean, you've seen that offense has climbed back up to 17th in KenPom. I think it dropped all the way down to 39 after that UConn game. So they've steadily been climbing since then, and 30 on defense right now. So getting back close to that 25-25 club that the national championship typically comes from. So
yeah, the Butler loss hurts in there.
Yeah, 100%
on the defense.
But and the thing is though that you were talking about the tough stretch ahead. All their 6 opponents left, 4 of them were a 1-possession game the first time they played, and 2 of them are against the 2 best teams in the conference.
Yep, and they're both at home against and you already took the loss on the road.
Yep, and 3 overtime games in that mix as well, or a couple overtime games, and one of them was 3 overtimes. So yeah, it's a tough stretch. But if Creighton is the team that we think they're capable of being, like these are all teams outside of UConn and Villanova that Creighton should beat. I mean, they're not favored to win every game, because road games are hard. Like KenPom has Creighton losing to St. John's and Villanova, but they're both basically coin flip games. So those are games that you need to see them go in and win if they are the team that we think they are, and if they've kind of stabilized and figured some things out.
Yeah, like if you did a Pythagorean in baseball, they have the Pythagorean, what you should be based on what you ended up being, and that's all based on runs scored and it's very simple stuff. But I think about they're 18-7 right now. There's a very real world where they could be 20-5 or potentially even better than that. I mean, and I don't. If you put a number 8 by them right now, if you were like, yeah, this is the 8th or 10th best team in the country, I'd be like, yeah, I think that's still the case, which is amazing because you listen to the fan base or whatever, and there's always consternation there. You wouldn't sense that confidence right now, not from the team, but from how people sort of look at them, and even from a national perspective as well. I think they're every bit as good as they were supposed to be, if not, they're different than what they were supposed to be, but that's how it ends up for everybody. But I would have no problem saying that they're one of the best 10 teams in the country right now.
Yeah, they're starting to look a little bit more like we thought they could.
Yeah.
But now they have to go out and prove it. If they're the team, if they are that team, then they got to go better than 3-3 in the stretch, which is what KenPom kind of projects here as their final record. They go 3-3, they're fine, but they're certainly not improving their seed. They'll be in the tournament, but that's not kind of what you want. You need, at the very least, you need to go 4-2 and only take the losses to UConn and Villanova and Marquette. at the very least. Like, but you get one of those wins. Like you knock off Marquette, you go 5-1. Now you're talking about a good seed because you've got another resume win to go on that list. You've got the 23 wins there, and then whatever happens in the Big East tournament. And now you're looking pretty good. And that's kind of, again, Creighton's lost so many of these close games in conference. I think that's the other thing that's kind of holding them back. And I mean, after the back-to-back losses, there were some people like some think pieces on Creighton, and they're not as like there are more problems here than you may think. Like look at the record against teams that aren't DePaul and Georgetown and all that, and it was true. Like DeMarinis and I on the pod kind of had a back and forth conversation about this too, in terms of what Creighton is. Like he was kind of more coming out from what he believed they're capable of, and I was like, yeah, but they have to do it to kind of back that up.
That's fair.
Right now, their record says they aren't, like, because we were talking about tiers in the Big East, and Matt was putting them in the top tier with UConn and Marquette, and then making the second tier just the big middle. And I said, like, I think they're capable of being that, but their resume to this point puts them in that middle with the other teams because they were kind of basically won as many as they lost against those teams. So now is the time when you can separate yourself from that group and really kind of jump back up into that top tier from a record standpoint to go with what we think they're capable of.
Well, you're right. You said it. Win against UConn changes, the entire perception, right? Because then all of a sudden you're on everybody's radar here down the stretch. And I don't have high expectations for what's going to happen at Hinkle this weekend, considering Creighton's checkered history in that building and I don't know, something odd's going to happen. But whether or not they win that game, if they beat UConn, that changes your outlook and your perception of what people think you are.
100%. Because again, right now, their best win is Alabama, who, I mean, that ended up playing out the way that Max said it would in terms of they've gotten onto a nice run here in conference play and started to add the wins to their metrics. So that's a really good win. But then you get past that and it's a lot of bubble teams. So getting another one of those surefire high seed teams as a win under your belt would be huge for the resume and for kind of where they're going to land in the seeding there, because again, the resume is a little light.
It is
at this point in terms of those quality wins. Like they're a solid tournament team. They're going to win enough games, but I mean, we've seen they don't necessarily need a super high seed to make a good run. It's just about playing your best basketball at the right time, which is what they did last year. But it certainly helps if you can pull that off, and would be less stressful if they just kind of win these games and feel good about where you're at going into Selection Sunday, as opposed to kind of, well, where are we going to fall here?
I want to ask you about a couple of the things that they've done over the last few games here, personnel wise. Obviously, with Fred King kind of taking a backseat, even though he came in mop up time at the end of Georgetown. But they've tried a couple different things at the 5 with Jason Green getting mixed into the lineup, and then Isaac Trout as well. The Jason Green one seems to kind of be sticking. Mac, talked about how he's just now kind of he's just really getting there because he missed a really important stretch of practices 3 weeks before the season started, and then the first 3 weeks of the season where he could have played a little bit. I think Jason Green has some glue guy vibes to me, where he kind of does the dirty work in there and grabs a couple offensive rebounds and has the ability to score, especially with everybody else around him, trying to make plays. This has been a pretty positive development for them when they were just trying to find minutes, outside of Kalkbrenner, where they could make a living in that period of time.
Yeah, it's kind of been an interesting season for Jason. Obviously, I mean, heading into the year, the 4th spot was that one wild card, and you saw they got 3 guys here to figure out who's going to play the rotation minutes, and then Jason gets hurt and kind of resolved itself there.
And by the way, Jacob, I think Jason was probably closer in that conversation than people want to admit, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, See, my problem with that is it was always going to be tough to figure. I thought if everybody's healthy, I thought it might be more of we could see all three of these guys and kind of a matchup phase. All right, the way the game's going, let's give Jason a try here because he's a different look than the other two. So that's kind of, I was like, it'd be kind of an interesting to have that option. And then obviously the injury took that out. And then he got a minute here or there. Like they did do that a little bit early in the season. It's like 60-second spurts or whatever, where he got in late in the first half just for a little spurt or whatever. But nothing really happened with that, and it kind of went away. And then they briefly tried him as, obviously with Fred King's struggles continuing, they tried him as the backup 5 in the St. John's game, I think it was. He practiced in that spot, had kind of moved ahead of Fred that week in practice. And then I think they kind of went at him inside right away and scored on him, if I remember correctly, and we didn't really see that again. Went back to Fred for moving forward, and then this recent stretch, like after that Butler game, they moved Isaac Trout to the 5, and that's kind of where he's been spending a lot of his practice, and that opened the door for Jason to get in the rotation. And he's made the most of it. I mean, that's what he said. Like, no matter, I have no idea how long I'm going to play. Could be 60 seconds, could be 7 minutes, like we saw on in that last game. So it all depends on kind of what he's able to do with it. And Mac saw the impact that he was making, and he let him ride. I mean, again, he played 7 straight minutes, and Creighton outscored Georgia by 9 in that stretch. Like that bench group is really what created the separation in that game, and he was a big part of it. They went on a 13-0 run with him on the court. So he does bring a different look with his ability on the offensive glass, particularly. It was something he was really good at in high school. Just from the weak side, flying in there, tracking down that ball, avoiding box outs. That's exactly what we've seen in these last 3 games with him in there. He's got 3 offensive rebounds. He's drawn a couple of fouls. He's got a couple buckets. And this last game got to the free throw line. So it is interesting, and I think Isaac at the 5 hasn't really clicked in terms of any kind of production just yet.
He's got to shoot it in order for it to work.
Yeah, but also I think there's upside there. Like at this point with King, I think we've kind of seen it is what it is. Like he just hasn't been able to find a way to get to where they need him to. So Isaac is very new to this, but you can see him trying to get into the right positions defensively. He's working hard. He kind of understands what he needs to do, but he's maybe just a half step late out of position, leading to some of these fouls. But I think with more experience, maybe the next time he gets all the way over there and forces a miss with verticality. I mean, we saw him do that once in the pick and roll a couple of games ago, where he kind of showed and then recovered to his man and forced a miss at the basket over the top. So a couple others led to some in-ones or giving some fouls or whatever. But you can see that he's working hard to get into that spot. And when they run plays for him, he's getting open. He's just got to get to go down. So I think at this point, unless there's some really bad matchups where you just don't think like he'll be able to hold up, like even Providence, they only put him in when Oduro was off the court. Got called for under court break, so you didn't have to go up and face a guy like that. So I think they're going to continue to be kind of strategic with it and try to put him in the best position to succeed and kind of add reps and kind of learn. And you hope by the end of the season, he'll be able to kind of make a little bit more of an impact there. And honestly, you don't even need, like, if he can go out there and play 3.5 minutes without losing points, that's what happened the first time that he got out there, that Providence game. Went out there, I think, played 3.5 minutes, and Creighton was +2 in those minutes. He didn't score, he didn't record a stat, but the other team wasn't able to make a run. And that's really all you need out of the bench guys right now, is when one or more of the key guys sits down, don't lose the game.
Survive.
Don't let the other team get on a big run. Yeah, just tread water. Like, if you do that, like those other guys are good enough to win you the game if the bench can tread water. And that's what we've seen a little bit more of recently.
One more quick one before we let you go. Well, it doesn't have to be quick. how have we gotten to the sweet spot that we're in right now with Creighton's backcourt of Trey Alexander and Steven Ashworth? It feels like they're both playing well right now, but Trey's playing really well, but also they both seem really comfortable right now. I think some of it is probably just, getting comfortable with each other through all these games, but we have seemed to arrive at a really, really nice sweet spot with those guys.
Yeah, I think obviously Steven's starting to hit shots. That's huge for the overall offense and for his confidence. But I think a lot of it has come down to Ashworth settling in and figuring out, all right, how do I make plays? What do I need to do? And I think that's had a huge impact on Trey because he just had so much on his shoulders early in the season because he was really the only one outside of Baylor to a certain extent that was able to handle the ball against pressure and try to get them into their looks and initiate offense, go create something when the play broke down. He was really the only one doing that, and it happened too often because they spent a lot of time trying to get into their sets. I mean, there was a lot early in the season where Ashworth's kind of dribbling in place and not really going anywhere, and they were killing clock, or he dribbled to a spot and pick up the ball and then just have to get rid of it. That's not really happening anymore. Ashworth's keeping the bounce alive. He's getting to his spots. He's getting the ball where it needs to go within the offense. And that's taken a lot off Trey's shoulders, which has allowed him to kind of focus more in and be more effective in what he does really well. So I think they've kind of settled into that kind of two combo guard role with, Ashworth handling a lot of, Trey will initiate if the outlet pass comes his way. He'll push it up and he'll get into it. But I think Steven's handling it a lot, kind of when they're calling sets and getting guys in spots. And that's allowed Trey to kind of be more of the finisher as opposed to the guy having to do everything. And so I think we're seeing now kind of that backcourt look a lot more like what the coaches envisioned when they went out and recruited Steven when they knew they needed a point guard.
No doubt about it. Jacob Padilla of Herd Sports. Jacob, thanks for the breakdown as always, my friend, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, sounds good.
Jacob Padilla. Trey Alexander, he's not going to make 6 threes every game, but if he can be a real consistent threat there were some teams that were just starting to go under on him. But on screens, it's like, yeah, you know what? We're okay with living with that. Because what we don't want to do is let Trey get to his 90% spot, which is, 10 feet away from the basket and pull a fadeaway crazy shot, but it goes in all the time. Now you still have to think about that. And if you have to guard the 3, it's just going to make everything easier for everybody else. It's going to make not only can Trey have the ability to make shots, but it's going to make everything easier for Ashworth. Ashworth's knocking 3s down at a great rate, gives more space to Baylor. You saw in the Xavier game, and some of that is matchup, but in the Xavier game, they were really getting Ashworth going, throwing lobs up to Kalkbrenner. And it really is starting to look pretty much exactly how we, like Jacob just said, like we envisioned it.
That's a wrinkle I've enjoyed seeing as of late, and
that's the flash of last year.
And every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Why don't they do that more?
And as much as I've said, we kind of are romanticizing last year's team because of where they finished. That is a thing that last year's team had. If you're looking for, we want it to be up to this standard, if not more. They have the only thing that this team doesn't have that last year did, and this team's better in some areas now, is just a little bit more depth and options, coming through off the bench. But if Jason Green's coming along and you still get good minutes from Farabello, I just think they're in a really sweet spot right now. Like I said, if they don't have those 2 losses against Butler and Providence, which they very easily could have won both of those games, we're talking about them having won 7 games in a row. They're probably a top 10 team in the country. They're 20-5 going into their most important stretch of the season, which starts on Saturday. That's not that far-fetched to think about. And I think they look an awful lot like that, even though they don't have the record to show it. But like Jacob said, now you got to go do it. And like I said earlier this week, I think they're going to beat UConn.
Okay, so you haven't backed off of that.
Not a bit.
It's in
and nothing that happens on Saturday, barring an injury, will make me back off of it. I think Creighton's going to win on Tuesday.
Hey, hell in a cell.
Yeah. Get those big home crowds back going and all that stuff. So yeah, tough final 6 here. No more easy games, but I think they're as prepared for it as they possibly could be.
The stripe out.
That's right. The stripe out. Look at your sections and see where you're sitting and see if you want to wear white or blue to that game.
Just be loud.
Definitely.
Whatever color your shirt is.
Just be loud. Make it so Danny Hurley, you can't hear Danny Hurley yelling over everything.
Get him mad.
All right, back with more, including us finding, or not us, the World Herald, I guess, finding the guy who told the NHL to come to Omaha. He's also got some other ideas. That on the other side when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
An attorney over in Iowa named Van Plum is now requesting the state of Iowa. Okay, I shouldn't. See, here's a serious story, and you guys are hung up on Van Plum.
That's a character in the board game Clue. Van Plum did it in the office with a club stick.
What's a club stick?
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies for your Thursday afternoon. A bit cooler with the high today in Omaha, 40 degrees. Clouds begin increasing late this afternoon and tonight, becoming overcast. Light snow possible overnight, low 26. Omaha getting up to 1 inch of snow. Meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded onto the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent downtown at the CHI Health Center, Omaha. Be there as the Supernovas take on Orlando on Sunday, February 18th at 5 p.m. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Creighton Sports Update. Creighton tennis is back. Women's tennis returns to the Hanscom Tennis Court tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. to take on North Dakota. Fans can check out the action for free. For more information or to follow along on all things Creighton athletics, visit gocreighton.com. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Yeah!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Email us on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever's on your mind. Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me, Gary, at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically. which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
As the theory was on this show anyway.
It's a mover and shaker.
Yeah. That would be Rod Yates, who's the owner and the operator of Nebraska Crossing Shopping Center. He's
whole center.
Got some big ideas.
Nebraska Crossing was a big idea.
Nebraska Crossing was a big idea. Apparently, according to the story from the Omaha World Herald, he said they kind of partnered together and worked together with some economic professors to see what the feasibility and the impact might be. Like, there's some real research done here. Yates said they worked together on an economic impact study for the National Hockey League, ranked the existing franchises and all the proposed expansion franchises, and Nebraska ranked number 1 and number 2 in every category that they made this on their own study. They provided that information to NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, who has acknowledged that someone in Omaha sent him a long email expressing interest in a team. Quote, "We shared with Mr. Bettman and Mr. Bettman invited us this Friday, tomorrow, to come to New York with our team and present the opportunity to be in the Good Life District." Interesting. So that story may not be over. Also, some more thoughts about what's going on near the Good Life District, or in the Good Life District, which is now going to be this thing, apparently. The plan is to build, he told a state panel yesterday that he is in the final stages of putting together an agreement to relocate USA volleyball facilities from Anaheim, California to Gretna. Said it's going to be about a $150 to $200 million facility, and they're going to relocate 100 Olympic athletes. You're going to see all of their corporate staff, the training staff, relocate to Gretna and be a big part of our community.
That's the real exciting one to me. Like, obviously an NHL team in Omaha would be cool, but
seems like sort of a pipe dream.
I don't know if we're there yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if the league is there yet, and that's okay. But this sounds doable. This sounds like a really cool idea.
A Good Life District, the Good Life District along Interstate 80 between Omaha and Lincoln, was approved by the Nebraska Department of Economic Development this week. Lawmakers are still fine-tuning the process, which developers and cities would collaborate to use a portion of the state's sales tax revenue to incentivize new businesses to build in these districts. They're aimed at attracting unique and tourist-oriented businesses. John Cook testified at this hearing yesterday, and he said he helped bring people with the program out for a visit with the USA Volleyball program that included Volleyball Day in Nebraska at Memorial Stadium, or as Matt Rule calls it, Volleyball Day in America, which famously drew over 92,000 spectators. Quote, this is from Cook, "We made the call and got them out here. They came to the stadium. They came to the stadium match with several players and coaches and just fell in love with Nebraska." Cook described the facilities in California that they currently use for the USA Volleyball training facility as, quote, "abysmal." Strong way to put it. Yeah, people have thought of this for years, Josh. The idea that we have this open space basically right at that interstate exit right there, 426, right? And in between, it's the appropriate distance in between Omaha and Lincoln. Basically, the idea for all of these years, I mean, we've been talking about this since I've been alive, basically. Let's just make this central hub. The dream was like to put the airport there. It's equidistant from Omaha and Lincoln. And giant water parks, I think, have been proposed in we have the giant outdoor shopping mall. We got the new chains and stores that are coming through.
Are we still doing the Big Lake?
And
out there?
I don't know if Big Lake is still a thing. I'm not sure where we stand in that category.
Poll question: is Big Lake still a thing?
Are we still doing Big Lake? Poll question at Happer Show that'll be up here momentarily. But that had been the thought for many years, and now there's actually, we'll see when this all comes to fruition and what it actually looks like when it's a quote unquote finished product. But it seems like a one-time dream that's kind of starting to take shape a little bit here out in Gretna. Gretna's the hub of everything. Just ask Mitch Sherman.
That's where the money is.
It's also a great location.
Well,
great place to start a family.
Oh, yeah. Space. Not a lot of that other places.
Well, yeah, you just build.
Mm-hmm.
Open area for us to build. If I find this interesting, and I saw that there was some like pushback to this yesterday on the general idea of like, okay, we're going to put stuff that are quote unquote tourist attractions here. Who wants to drive? Like, it's famously, if it's equidistant from Omaha and Lincoln, it is neither in Omaha or Lincoln, right? So are you farther away from people or are you closer to people? You have to make it become a destination type of stop in order for people to get into their cars and go there. I find it interesting with the trend in professional sports that we've had over the last decade plus now, which is let's move it to highly densely populated, central, usually downtown areas, right? And now we're talking about, let's build this oasis in the middle of the farm.
Go to the burbs
and let's see what happens. I'm interested to see what comes of it. I'm obviously not convinced.
I'm not driving all that way for meatballs. My wife would, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's the plight, Josh.
You're big on plight today.
I'm using
Everybody's
plight.
got a plight. Kenneth comes in with a take and some facts.
Hello, Kenneth, with takes and facts.
We rarely get facts. We get lots of takes. I'm totally on board with the NHL in Omaha, but we cannot bring in a Major 4 sports team and plant them at the Gretna outlets.
It would be quite the look, wouldn't it be?
But that is a trend in some.
Is it?
Some team, like the Braves moved out to the burbs, getting out of downtown.
Well, the Braves I just made the opposite point. The Braves made their own city, right? Yes. And I think that's the idea here. But there was the whole run of stadiums in the 70s and 80s where it's like, all right, that's a perfect idea. Let's take this giant plot of land and slap a giant multi-purpose stadium on top of it, have a gigantic parking lot, and we have all the space we could ever need to do anything. That was the idea. I think in the professional sports realm, you're starting to see less and less of that. I think there's a move toward the population centers. It's interesting. Warner Park comes up in this conversation as well. And, you could see it. And this could be a conversation that we could definitely have with President C as they start their idea of building the downtown soccer stadium. Shout out to Abbott Drive. But that ballpark is not easy to get to for most of the city. Right. And so you have to take a lot of time out of your evening to go out to Warner Park and catch a baseball game. And that's a thing that happens 100 nights a year, basically almost 100 nights a year. And so maybe for baseball, the right answer is to be downtown, but for hockey,
sure,
whether it's once a week or once every 2 weeks or twice a week, sometimes that you put it in a place where people might have to travel a little bit too. I'm interested in urban sprawl, Josh, urban dynamics, and see how that goes.
I told you Kenneth came with facts. Here's his fact. CHI would have a larger capacity than 6 current NHL buildings, including Jersey and Vegas.
And the buildings are definitely getting smaller, more compact, more amenities, things like that.
He also says,
by the way, have you seen the new bar at the Chai?
No.
I went down there and took a couple pictures. I should tweet about it actually, but they installed a giant new bar for like courtside seat people. underneath the.
Oh, I heard about
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I think they just basically blew out a section of the wall and built a giant bar there.
Great.
It's dope.
He says Kenneth adds Big Lake is happening.
Thank God. We need Big Lake.
And he says, I would be a Chasers regular if it weren't where it was.
That's the tough part. It really is. So maybe that's just a baseball versus other sport kind of thing. It's a grind. Even for Creighton games, like, most of their fan base doesn't live downtown. So everybody's going to travel for something, right? But where it would be, as Kenneth said, it would definitely be hilarious if Nebraska finally got a Big Four professional sports team and they put it in Gretna.
Of all the places.
And hey, we love our friends in Gretna.
We do.
But it would be
40 years ago, you would not have said to someone, hey, this is what's going to happen.
This is where it's going to be.
I'm a time traveler. This is what is actually happening.
Hey, welcome to NHL Tonight. Let's go live to Gretna, Nebraska, where the Gretna Dragons are taking on the Seattle Kraken tonight.
Oh.
You just call them the Dragons.
I'd be there.
It would make it a lot easier for the television networks to do the farm shots.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a downside.
Hey, what's with this big barn you guys got out here?
Why does it say Trump on it?
Why does it say Trump? After all these years.
It's 2046. Trump's been dead for 15 years. What's going on? Why does it say that?
Why? Change the barn.
It's a relic. Can't change it at this point. So I'm curious to see where this all ends up. And I'm interested in the trends and see, and I mean, we'll talk a little bit about maybe the Royals' new vision later on, which will be likely approved here in less than 2 months. And they're going to be moving downtown. They're just going to put it right across the street from their basketball hockey arena that already exists, their concert venue that they have. And most people are like, yeah, that's kind of a good thing. It's hard to go to a game at Kauffman Stadium because they play there 80 times a year and it's 20 minutes out of town. For most of the people, especially the sprawl in Kansas City, which has moved west into Kansas, it could take upwards of a half hour to get from that side of town to the other. Traffic and everything.
I'm just excited for another arena.
I'm just excited for IKEA.
Well, sure.
Give me those samples.
Love building my own furniture.
Got a couple emails here if you want to get to them.
Please.
By the way, here's a tweet from Huskerfast.
Hi, Huskerfast.
Nebraskans famously hate public transportation, so build it next to Valas and make the Chevy Suburban driving moms happy. We probably need a little bit of public transportation to get. Yeah, we would need an improvement on that, and it probably would not be just the streetcar.
Bullet train.
The Omaha to Lincoln bullet train with a stop in Gretna.
Uh-huh.
You can get to from downtown to Gretna in 6.5 minutes.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
That would be sweet. I'd pay a lot of money for that, honestly. If you want to give me like a whatever percent tax on all of my food purchases for the next 10 years to build the bullet train, sign me up. I'm in. John emails in.
Hi, John.
USA Volleyball. Is it now obvious that John Cook is going to resign from Nebraska Volleyball and take over USA Volleyball?
Ooh.
And he just doesn't want to live in California. There can be no other reason.
That seems to track. Knowing very little about John Cook, USA Volleyball, or anything.
I wonder what John Cook's retirement life is going to look like.
It's either USA Volleyball or disappearing forever on a ranch somewhere.
He could have both in Gretna.
Yeah.
He could go get a house on Big Lake and be the coach of, an advisor to USA Volleyball all at the same time. Interesting.
You girls come on down to the lake. Today we'll do a team building exercise.
Brian on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Brian.
This is probably better served as a mailback question, but who wants to wait a week? Great call, Brian.
Yeah.
Say the unthinkable happens and we get an NHL team in Gretna. What do we as Omahans do with our current favorite teams? In my 40-plus years of life in Omaha, the dream has always been to get a professional team here, but never thought it would happen. Do you drop your current favorite NHL team, in my case, the Avs, and pick up the local team, or do you continue to follow the lifelong fave? What would you do if you were an MLB team and you had to choose the Royals or Omaha, or for me and Odson, the Braves and a new team? I'm not hard and fast on this. I want to wait and see what the circumstance is, who the owners are, all that stuff. But the reason I became a Royals fan is because of the accessibility to them. You drive 3 hours down the road, you're there, you watch them on TV, local TV every day. That's why I became a Royals fan. I would have a hard time, I'm sure, but I think I would immediately become the Omaha team fan. That would be my stock answer with the ability to amend it if and when it happens.
The only anecdote I have of this happening to somebody is I have a cousin who lives in Seattle, and they moved from Minneapolis. They were fans of the Wild, and then they moved to Seattle where there was no hockey team, and then a hockey team came to them, and they had a choice to make, and they chose to embrace the new team.
Yeah, I think you got to go local.
Yeah. If like you said, you like the ownership group, you like the nickname, you like the look and feel of the team,
the gear.
Yeah. You only get a very short window though to hop on.
Right. Yeah.
You can't year two, okay, these people have shown me something. I'm in. No, that's too late.
They got to the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, you're not going to be able to figure that one out. One more from John.
Hi, John.
Does Josh have any idea when Mayor Jean will be back in town and tell us the streetcar will run from the new soccer stadium to the new arena in Gretna?
I don't have her schedule, people, but I just know these things.
By the way, at no cost to the taxpayer, of course.
Of course. I will say that it is a presidential election year, so she might pop up a bit more. Now, she's not up for election or anything, but she tends to be seen.
Thank you for that information, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Brian on the text line.
Hi, Brian.
I don't understand people's obsession with having stuff downtown. Being out west, I'd rather travel to Warner or Gretna for a game than deal with downtown traffic and insane parking fees. I never go to the CHI Health Center or the Chuck for that purpose alone. Downtown is not everything unless you're a young whose sole purpose in life is drinking and partying. Well, I mean, but that's
everybody likes.
You kind of have to build that into the
possible,
cake.
Yeah. And do you think you're the only one going to an NHL game? There will be 15,000 people.
I live out west. Warner Park is hard for me to get to. Warner Park is almost harder for me to get to than downtown.
I live by the interstate. And I'm gosh.
It's a hard 25, 30 minutes from both Warner Park, because I'm northwest, just like you, Josh.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to get both of those places.
It's once I get off the interstate that I just want to be at Warner Park.
It's very hard.
I just want to be there. And I'm not there yet.
Also, one more from Pedro, who I met Pedro at the Jays game the other night.
Wow.
He goes, I'm Pedro. I go, thanks, Pedro.
I'm Pedro.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Connor and Josh. My wife and I are now spending a lot of money on that retro website.
About 3 during the Jacob Padilla interview. Limited myself to 3.
Josh has the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Psst. Hey, I have a secret. I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant because more than just my armpits stink.
Oh, can I use it where my bra rubs under my...
Oh, yeah.
And what about down there? My...
Totally. 4 out of 5 gynecologists would recommend it. So I tried it, and now I get 72 hours of freshness from my pits to my...
Ooh, I love that it's a spray.
Me too. And it comes in sticks and creams too. Go get your Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
Progressive covers pets in our auto policy at no extra charge. Now, let's see what your dog has to say.
As a dog, I think Progressive's auto pet policy is... Oh, what is that? That's just my tail. Weird. Anyway, Progressive protects... There it is again. See? This is why I need protection. I'm so distracted. Nope, that is still my tail.
Progressive Auto Insurance covers pets for up to $1,000 in a car accident at no extra charge. And we think your dog would say that's great, too. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature-Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Omaha native Frankie Fiddler is top 20 in the NCAA Division I scoring and leading the Omaha Maverick men's basketball team in a run for the conference title. The Maverick men are at home against South Dakota on Thursday and South Dakota State on Saturday. And Maverick hockey only has 4 regular season home games left on February 23rd and 24th when they take on Colorado College in a top 20 matchup. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now. Call the box office at 402-554-MAVS or omavs.com/tigs.
Omaha fans, are you ready to score tickets to your favorite events hassle-free? Yes. Shop local Tickets for Less, located right here in Omaha, 145th and West Center Road. No hidden fees, just transparent pricing. And when you use the promo code THEZONE at checkout, you'll save big at ticketsforless.com. Whether it's sports, concerts, or something else, Tickets for Less has you covered. If you have a question, call today, 402-398-1999. You'll never find better customer service because every seat holds a story. Find yours and use the promo code THEZONE at checkout at ticketsforless.com.
Tickets for Less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Okay, Josh. Some odd things.
Connor Happer.
I assume there was going to be a bunch of stories from the Kansas City parade yesterday, but now probably less.
Yeah, had a couple had to throw away.
Yeah. It's okay.
Journalistic integrity over here.
Good job by you.
Instead, I found a story of a Peruvian police officer who lured out a suspected drug dealer with a fake Valentine's Day gift while wearing a fuzzy bear costume and beckoning her out into the street with a box of chocolates. Can you imagine a triple plush teddy bear capturing a drug dealer on the day of love and friendship? Joked Peruvian National Police spokesperson Jose Honorio. Not a great joke, Jose, but whatever. It happened in Lima, the country's capital. Video shows the officer down on one knee holding a sign in Spanish that says, "You are my reason to smile," with a candy and a heart-shaped balloon. The suspect comes out on her porch before the video cuts to another shot where the officer without his mask, but still dressed as the bear, he just took the head off, he had the bear body on still, places her in handcuffs.
Wow.
Other plainclothes anti-drug officers from the city's Green Squadron sprinted in to assist with the arrest. Police pulled out multiple stashes of what appeared to be heroin or a similar opioid. Still wearing his costume, the bear pulled some of the contraband out of a drainage grate.
Yeah, that would not be the way I would want to go. You know, not be the way I would want to get arrested by a bear.
Yeah, that's a tough look. You're going to hear about that one in prison. Really? A bear?
Yeah. A giant teddy bear.
You
that's what you fell for.
Candy and flowers?
Yeah, that's what you fell for.
What an idiot.
Dang.
Good
job by the Peruvian police.
Yeah,
though.
what an idea. Hey, how do we get her out of the house?
What a trap.
I've got it, guys. I just need a bear costume. We go to New York City, where there's always something odd happening. A pair of, quote, reckless clowns had a midday tryst while riding on top of a moving subway train in Queens. According to photos of the death-defying act, an ex-user posted along with 2 images showing 3 people on the roof of a 7 train as it crosses raised tracks above the Van Wyck Expressway. I'm familiar with the Van Wyck because I watched Seinfeld.
Nice.
Quote, men appear to be having sex on top of a New York City MTA train. What is the MTA doing about this? In the first image, a man's buttocks are on display as his pants are around his knees, grabbing onto a second individual, and a third man is walking towards them. In the pic,
it's very difficult to get a new thing that's happened on the subway, right?
Yeah.
You would assume that all of the things have already happened on
Seen
the
it
subway.
all. I'm a New Yorker. I ride this subway for 35 years. I've seen everything.
And I assume that people have seen this happening inside of the subway car.
Sure.
But not on top of the subway car.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just hope nobody suffered the same fate as our guy from Speed.
No, it appears
dollar.
It appears height was not an issue as everyone lived to tell the tale. MTA communications director Tim Mittens said, the only thing dumber than riding on top of a subway train is dropping your pants in the process. Those reckless clowns aren't thinking about the mess cleaners and other transit workers will have to deal with when their stupid stunt goes tragically wrong. Now, again, it did not go tragically wrong, so we can laugh about it here on the Odd News.
Also, are we sure that that it was a stunt?
TBD yet.
What if they felt like it was just the best place to do what they wanted to do?
Maybe it will in a couple days, like you heard about it now. Here's the bit.
Yeah, here's the TikTok.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That's true. We should be on the lookout for that.
I'll let you be on the lookout for that. Finally, we end in New Hampshire, where state lawmakers are using their time very wisely, as a lawmaker is promoting a bill that would give the state an official pronunciation for its capital city, Concord. State Representative Eric Gallagher appeared before the House Executive Departments and Administration Committee on Tuesday to discuss his proposal that an official international phonetic alphabet pronunciation for Concord be instated alongside the official state animal, state sport, and other state symbols. Gallagher, whose preferred pronunciation resembles the word Concord, ran into some opposition from Representative Diane Schuett, who asked Gallagher if he had run his proposal past old Yankee folks who call it Concord. I'll tell you, I'm fearful that some of them may be offended if we mandate a specific pronunciation that doesn't jibe with their heritage.
Wow, you really can't do anything these days, can you?
You cannot get a single bill or law passed in this country.
Jeez.
A lot of people talking about a lot of things being passed today. We can't agree on how to pronounce Concord.
Imagine being triggered about not feeling included, that your pronunciation of Concord was not being recognized.
We're far apart on that.
Yeah, there were
that seemingly innocuous thing.
We got some problems.
Mm-hmm.
We got some problems. I'm all for pronouncing things the right way, to having one standardized way to pronounce everything and pronouncing it that way.
But
that would be very helpful.
I would also tell you that, New Hampshire has been a state for God
Many
knows
years.
how long. 1788, it was admitted to the Union. Probably could have gotten there already. Probably should have done this already. Time has passed.
That's true.
To get it done.
That's true. But better late than never, I guess.
I guess.
Like I said, it seems worse late now because of our climate.
A lot of infighting.
Great news, Josh. They're playing the 2020 Super Bowl on the NFL Network, and watching Demi Lovato sing the national anthem.
I enjoy Demi Lovato.
That game took place between the 49ers and the Chiefs.
Oh, what happened?
The Chiefs won.
Don't tell me the Niners blew a 10-point lead and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't hit Emmanuel Sanders on a deep ball that would have won.
Oh, that's right.
Would have won the game. That's what happened in that game. And then COVID happened right after this. So
people forget.
What a time. What a time to be alive.
And we haven't agreed on a single thing since.
Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. We'll come back, get into a couple of the things that I'm triggered about today.
Finally.
And we also have a couple Husker football topics in there. Don't forget, we'll talk to Michael Bruntz at the bottom of the hour. Evan Porter at 1 o'clock. Plenty of baseball coming up this weekend. More up next in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio. This is 1620 The Zone.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-313-6688. That's 800-313-6688.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for high cholesterol, diabetes, infectious diseases, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
Hey there, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Well, it's time. Time to get all your new permits and stamps for hunting, fishing, fur harvesting, and state parks. Time to check your motorboat registration for renewal. Time to make those cabin and camping reservations in the state parks if you haven't done that already. And time to go over all of your outdoor gear for spring and summer. There you go. Have a good one in the great outdoors. I'm Greg Wagner.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The back seat. Check the back seat. All right, come here. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Josh, do I need to weigh in on what's going on in the comments right now?
No, I mean, maybe during the next break, peruse through it because it is entertaining to me.
What can you give me a synopsis?
Yeah, we're discussing in the chat, very helpfully, very friendly, very politely, where the T-Mobile Arena is located, whether it is in Vegas proper or outside of the city boundaries of Las Vegas.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
That the city boundaries I'm not aware of, but I could tell you where it is, and it's in Vegas. It's right off the strip. You could just walk there. It's really,
you can walk there. Okay.
I mean, you can't walk there from 20 miles away, but
sure.
Like if you're staying at one of the hotels on the strip, you can and should walk there.
We've gotten into tax brackets.
That's good.
Unincorporated versus incorporated.
Yeah. I wish I knew more. I wish I could weigh in more. But yeah, for the argument of, is the Vegas arena in a downtown, like highly populated?
Oh yeah, population center.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
I think they're going even
are we going on technical?
They're going even further into it than you are.
Daniel's saying the point isn't whether it's basically in and feels like Vegas. Well, okay, then I don't know what we're arguing about. Then I should have stayed out of this.
Oh yeah. Scroll through it. It's fun.
Isn't that what we were talking about? Like where it is compared to where generally people are. Like we're thinking about it in the abstract instead of literally where the city's borders are or whose taxes you pay.
Yeah, and I mean it started with conversations like, well, Liberty First is in Ralston, but if ESPN came to town, they would just say it's Omaha.
They would. I don't know why ESPN would be at Liberty First Credit Union.
I was just there on Friday. They will never ever do anything in that building. I feel confident saying ESPN will never step foot in that building.
Are you sure? We have to think about this. We have to play this out real quick. Yeah. No. No, I don't think so.
I don't know what event could come calling that they're like, we got to be there.
Maybe when Creighton has to move out for when the NHL team moves in and they are building their new beautiful arena closer to campus on the old grounds of the Civic Auditorium, and they need a place to play for a year. And they play at the Ralston Arena, home of like 4,000 seats. That'd be awesome.
If that.
Get rocking in there. No, Creighton's not going anywhere. John got triggered at me last time I tried to do that. I don't know.
Oh, really? Well, we don't want to get John triggered. So easy.
Speaking of being triggered, let's head over to the Athletic, where we find the Ohio State basketball coaching candidates Hotboard.
Oh, we love a hotboard on this show. Lay it on me. Who's your 5?
Now, to be fair, I always love to read the Hotboards.
Yeah,
I do, because it gives you information, but also it gives you where we're looking, what realm are we looking in, and the general takeaway from the Ohio State basketball opening is that it feels like it's going to be somebody who's going to leave their sitting high major job right now to take this job. I don't know that I agree with the idea, like the general premise of that.
Or Jay Wright. I saw a lot of Jay Wright yesterday during the show.
Let's have the discussion first of how good is that job? Are you leaving your powers? Are you leaving your high major job where you're having success and you're building something right now to go just automatically, hands down, be the head basketball coach at Ohio State, which is a football school in the Big Ten that has plenty of money?
Yeah. There's money, there are resources. They would like that team to be good, like the administration would.
Well, that's the downside to it, Josh. When it turns on you, it turns. Chris Holtman had been good up until this year. Jim Tressel was good forever. They're already turning on Ryan Day. I know Jim Tressel had some other stuff going on.
Final Fours in 07 and 12.
Thad Matta had some good stuff going on. I know there was more to that too. But I'm just saying, they've had a lot of good coaches and a lot of success, and for some reason, for one reason or the other, they don't end up staying there.
Haven't won the conference tournament since 2013.
But whether or not, I think it's very clear you can obviously win there.
Yeah,
you can win there.
Yeah,
but I think the downside to the job is the super short fuse and maybe the outsized expectations.
Okay,
right?
I understand what you're saying now.
That's the short side of it. So
They want
Is
to
it a
be,
good
they
job?
want to be an all athletics school, but they are a football school.
Is it a good job in the sense that you could win football or you could win basketball games there? Yeah, of course. Is it a good job in the sense that you have a built-in dedicated fan base and resources, therefore you can, pay whatever coach X amount of dollar figure to leave their sitting high major job right now? Yes. Yeah, of course. You're one of the schools that has the designation of being a Big Ten school, right? So there's money to make all the rest of your athletic department really good. But also, I mean, it's not like it's this huge, long history of tradition and success. And there's been some good coaches there who have been run out real quick. And I'm not defending Chris Holtman. I'm just saying sometimes bad years happen. And maybe it's maybe the general public could look on that and say, that seemed a little fast, right? Oh, we all saw it coming yesterday, but maybe a little fast. Hadn't they been to 3 straight NCAA tournaments under him? I know that's not the end all be all.
22, 21, 19, 18. So, I mean, technically 4 straight.
Well, Chris Holtman has been around for, so he won a game in 18, won a game in 19, 20 got canceled, got beat in the first round in 21, won a game in 22.
Yeah, they haven't been to the Sweet 16 since 2013.
And didn't go to the tournament last year. This year they stink. So, I don't know. It's quite a lot of success. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, to the board, Josh.
Hotboard.
Here's who they list in alphabetical order, but I can tell you who's on the front page with the picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed.
What are we trying to do here?
Indeed. It's not Dusty May. It's not Nico Medved. It's not Sean Miller. It's not Porter Moser. It's not Jerome Tang. It's not TJ Otzelberger.
What kind of hotboard is this?
It's Greg McDermott.
This isn't a hotboard. It's a lukewarm board with Greg McDermott on it.
So we know the connection to the job from 7-ish years ago, and that was close. That was close to happening, and Greg McDermott came back. There is some different leadership there now. Ted Carter is the president C
and admiral,
and of course still the admiral. And then of course this coincides with freaking Ed Cooley saying stuff the other night.
I hope you guys respect him.
By the way, did you see? I retweeted it last night. D. Marinas had a nice little compilation of all the times that Ed Cooley says that you should appreciate the coach that you have here. Ed Cooley just says that a lot.
That's his line.
The way,
that's his go-to stump speech.
Yeah. It's almost like he's projecting his own feelings on some things.
That's funny, actually.
It's almost like he likes being appreciated. Anyway, so there's that. But the timing obviously a little bit coincidental. I guess I would have a hard time thinking like, all right, if this was close and there was reasons to not do it a handful of years ago, then there is reasons to do it now. There is money. There is money. And there is, of course, the situation at Creighton changing over that period of time. On the basketball court, it's for the better. Elsewhere, maybe not. Right? So this is just setting the tone for this. He's going to pop up on some lists. Mac's going to pop up on some lists. Just be prepared. Just one.
I'm prepared to say this. I don't like it.
Oh no, I don't like it at all. I got an email yesterday from one of our listeners.
Was it Pedro?
No, it was Adam.
Oh,
it was Adam.
Hi, Adam.
He didn't say thanks, Pedro. He just said, "I'm Adam." And he was like, "Hey, I think you should talk about this." But one of the lines in one of his emails was, I'll just read it to you. If Mac were to leave, it would be catastrophic for CU. Now that all depends on what happens afterwards. Right. I think there is a list of coaches who they could go to the well of. Do you have confidence that that's going to happen, given the kind of change of the guard, I guess, that's happened at Creighton over the last several years now? Maybe, maybe not. They probably wouldn't want to go, quote unquote, in the family, right? So there's that piece of it. But the real result of that question is we can't know that until we find out how it turns out and how it works out for Creighton and who they hire, if that were to be the case. But I understand the sentiment, which is, number one, it wouldn't look good, right? Like this is clearly a program where you can accomplish a lot. It is regardless of what people want to joke about it is a high major conference. It's one of the best conferences in America, and Creighton has put their stake in the middle of it. They have been one of the best Big East teams throughout its existence since it was recreated 10 years ago. It has been either 1A or 1B. They've won the most games.
It is obviously a basketball school.
It is a basketball school. Now that comes with some challenges.
It does.
Potentially. It comes, I'll tell you what it comes with, Josh. It comes with a lot of unknown. I don't know how this is all going to turn out with the conferences and the money and the TV and all this. I genuinely have no idea how that's going to look. So it could be good for basketball. It could be bad for basketball. The Big East is certainly caught in the crosshairs of all of it, which I think Big East basketball is great and it's pure and it's a bunch of basketball schools who are like-minded and they basically only play basketball at the Division I level anyway. Or at the high major level, whatever you want to call it. I think it's pure in that way, but we know that pure things become unpure in this current state of college athletics. So that's maybe not as much of an upside or a positive part as it once used to be if you were a basketball coach. There's obviously the money piece of it. We don't know how much Matt gets paid because we don't have that information because they don't have to tell us. So, there's a lot to it, but I wanted to go back to what Adam said and how it would be catastrophic. It certainly wouldn't look good. It certainly wouldn't look good for Creighton. You have a good thing, and as Ed Cooley said the other night, there's an appreciation there, and I don't know what he was talking about, but it would definitely hurt for Creighton to not really pony up and try the best they could to keep him, right? That I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get an email from Bob here.
Oh,
but I think he's one of the best coaches in the country, and I think it makes a lot of sense why other teams would want to come in and try and poke him away, especially if they felt like the door was open. And I think and that's maybe the bigger problem with all of this. Other schools around the country feel as if the door is open because we've been having this conversation now for the last several years at the end of the season.
Bob has emailed before.
They've not been told no. Right?
Mac isn't a top 8 coach in the Big East.
Yeah. He's got all the stats and whatever. I'm going with the Bomani Jones eye test on that one, but yeah, I think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the best 10, 15 coaches in America. And so like I said, I think it makes a lot of sense why people would want to come get him. And he's at the juncture of his career and in his life. Is like, okay, what's he want to do? Does he feel like he can win a national championship here? How high does he prioritize that? And where do I feel like I can do it? And what's the right setup? And how big of a rebuild would we have to do? And, how fast could we win and all that stuff. But
so, I mean, that
triggered for sure.
That's the thing with him, right? Like what are your goals in I don't know. I don't have the math right in front of me and the schedule and all that. I believe against a very, very bad team early next year, he would become the winningest coach in Creighton history, unless they went on a similar run in the postseason.
I think it's 9 more.
9 more now, yeah.
Yeah.
And 6 in the regular season. So I guess he could get it this year. But
it'd be really good if they did.
Yeah, it would go ahead and try.
Yeah.
But then you got to start asking yourself, okay, what do I want to do here, and what do I want to do in life and in my profession?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to.
I think let's just put a bow on this. I think there's a lot of reasons for it not to be Ohio State, but he's going to keep popping up. Because once again, I think the message has been sent that the door is not completely closed on that.
Despite where you think he may be on a list of coaches in the country, he has value.
I found it interesting that Lamont Paris wasn't on this list, who's a name that I had heard a lot for that job, who's currently the coach at South Carolina, who they got winning a whole bunch of games. I find that sort of interesting, but this is just the one list from The Athletic.
There's a lot of SEC teams this year where I'm like, really, that team's ranked? That SEC team is ranked?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just Kentucky and everybody else.
What do we have here from Baz? What's Baz doing?
Spencer Hall wrote an article that says, no, adult men, you cannot find a downed plane from 30,000 feet in the air. One of those.
I couldn't find a plane.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like a downed plane. Like if a plane went down and you went to search for the wreckage in another plane, you couldn't see it coming.
That was what the argument was?
I believe so.
That's never been my argument.
Well, no, but it's one of those, hey, did you know 85% of men think that they could land a jumbo jet?
This says, no, you could not land a plane from 30,000 feet in the air by yourself.
Land a plane. Okay. I'm sorry. I misread the.
Yeah, I didn't know about the argument of nobody could find a plane. But land a plane, like you said, Josh, thank you. Never been the argument. Not talking about a commercial jet.
You are not.
But all right, I guess I'm the guy who thinks he can land planes in all kinds of situations.
And then there's a picture of Spencer Hall flying a plane. Or sitting in the cockpit.
Seems like a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
Oh, I say I'm probably more qualified than most, and that I really enjoy Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, you doing any Omaha to minis
Yeah.
lately?
You're gonna hop on late at night. Just do a quick one, get people safe. But no, I don't think I could land a commercial jet from 30,000 feet in the air.
Feels tough.
Although it'd be nice to have that help from the air traffic control. Might be able to handle it.
I feel like they would. Like, okay, we have to help this guy or try.
We'll come back. Michael Bruntz is next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, a reminder, along with many great opportunities to win tickets to various things, we invite you to head to our website, 1620thezone.com. There you will find another great thing, your chance to win $5,000 live, 1620thezone.com.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
The suspicious activity also included the Better Showing Sportsbook staff messages from Bohannon and explaining that the messages were Bohannon informing Better that Bama was scratching its starting pitcher before the game before Bohannon alerted LSU. So the guys, look, I have messages from the coach.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies for your Thursday afternoon. A bit cooler with the high today in Omaha, 40 degrees. Clouds begin increasing late this afternoon and tonight, becoming overcast. Light snow possible overnight, low 26. Omaha getting up to 1 inch of snow. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Woodhouse Lincoln wants to redefine your driving experience with our stunning lineup of Lincoln vehicles. Lease a 2023 Lincoln Nautilus for $499 a month for 39 months, 10,500 miles per year. Come visit us in store off 114th and Giles Road or online anytime at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, security deposit waived, $1,500 down payment plus first payment, and $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/2024. See dealer for details.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
It might be gravel, but it feels like gold.
Dirks Bentley, Gravel and Gold Tour.
They all know why I'm getting drunk on the plane.
Live at CHI Health Center on Saturday, August 24th with Chase Rice
But I just can't
and Tanner Usry. Dirks Bentley. On sale Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Yeah, it feels like
Dirks Bentley, live in concert.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Broncos country.
News has happened.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7. Hello, Michael.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, so in a little bit, we're going to have on well, you might know because he's a Millard North guy like yourself, Evan Porter, who's the coach at UNO. And I'm going to ask him about how he's pulled a money ball and recreated Mike Bovey in the aggregate. And I think it's
Fabio.
I think it's Fabio. I think it's the same question with Nebraska baseball with Bryce Matthews and Max Anderson. How do you recreate Giambi and Damon in the aggregate for the Nebraska baseball team?
I didn't realize he's a Millard North guy. I should have known that.
Oh yeah, he was probably a little younger than you, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'd have to. I assume you guys didn't overlap then. I don't know.
No, just maybe start with just ask him how old he is and when he graduated. That'd be a good lead into the conversation.
Hey, by the way, Evan, how old are you?
Yeah.
Anyway, Bryce and Max, how do you recreate them
In the aggregate.
in the
That's
aggregate?
how you do it. No, it's
How many players does it take to create two guys who hit like what they hit a combined like 35 home runs last year?
Yeah, no, that's tough. And I think people need to probably understand that, you know, the offensive approach is going to be a little bit different this year. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if you go back to last year, I think it's fair to say that Nebraska baseball last season, they were a team that they were really good at. If they jumped on you early, it was pretty much over. And if you kind of go and dig into the numbers, if they fell behind early, it was likely over. You know, it wasn't a team that was particularly good about being able to really force the issue with speed. And I know Bryce Matthews, you know, had the 2020 year, but up and down the lineup, they just didn't have that ability to manufacture runs, and was a little bit too reliant on the home run, if you can be nowadays. So it's going to be a different approach. I mean, I think there's more balance in the lineup. I think there's a few guys that have some power potential. I think there's the opportunity there for Dylan Carey to have a breakout season in the middle of the lineup. They return Gabe Swanson, who hit was 18 home runs last year, I think. And so they've got those guys. It's just going to be a little bit different than what they had last year. I mean, you're not going to have that kind of menacing bat in the middle of the lineup like what Max Anderson turned into.
Honestly, I love that idea. I mean, because you and I talked about it throughout their season last year. Just there, and you said it right off the top there, like their ability to either get up or get down in games right away, and you're like, okay, this is kind of decided. And they had a bunch of guys who could hit it out of the yard, big time potential. But if it wasn't going right on the right day, then it wasn't probably going to be their day. I appreciate the difference in approach. Like, I think that'll bode well for them with a more, I mean, you never want to say no to a guy who hit as many home runs as those two did last year. And, one was a first round draft pick, but to have the lineup depth and then also get a little bit more from the guys in the mound, like that sounds like a good combination to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and in the lineup that they're going to have more speed at the top. I mean, it's going to be some combination of Caden Brumbaugh and Riley Silva probably. And Silva stole over 40 bases last year in JUCO. Brumbaugh's kind of that, just quintessential leadoff hitter. He gets on base a ton, puts the ball in play, has some speed. So that helps, I think, to kind of put pressure on opposing defenses. And you mentioned the pitching part of it. There's much more of a depth of arms this year than what they had last year. You don't have necessarily the guys that you can really pencil in. I feel less confident about the rotation this weekend being the rotation they're going to be using in May, just because they have more arms, more guys that could potentially work their way into that conversation. And the bullpen, I think they needed to add a bunch of pieces because it was basically Shea Shanneman last year and a few other guys, but they've got more experience there and more guys that you can put in there in high leverage situations than what they've had.
You think I guess we'll see in the first couple weekends here, but what do you anticipate the right thing to do with Drew Christo might end up being?
Well, I mean, I think until about a week and a half ago, he probably would be in the weekend rotation right now. He had a scrimmage outing where the velocity was down a little bit and things weren't kind of looking right. And then he bounced back from that, but I think they're going to be a little bit careful with him the first weekend. He's available out of the bullpen. And with the way their schedule is, they have a pair of 4-game series over the next 2 weekends. So you're going to have to find another starter. I think he would be in the conversation for one of those starts if things kind of go well this weekend. So I think, he's kind of in that group. I mean, they've got their 3 starters for this weekend that they've already named, and then probably about 3 or 4 guys that are in that next tier of starters. But I don't think there's a huge gap between those 2 tiers as maybe what there's been in the past.
How much are you looking forward to catching a whole bunch of Nebraska baseball scoregamis this year? I'm sure, we're going to get a, whether it's a 7, what do we miss? A 17-7. That seems like it's pretty likely, honestly.
Yeah. The one that kind of floored me was they've scored 25 runs 6 different times. I think that was one that stood out.
Correct.
Certainly the 50-3 game being a bit of an outlier there that we probably won't hit again, but
they've scored 28 runs on 2 separate occasions. Amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know. Kudos to Jared and the guys over at Nebraska for putting that together. I know they were working on that last spring, I think.
Really?
So it was pretty. Nebraska's played a lot of baseball. It's a lot of scores to go through.
Notoriously, there's a lot of baseball games. We did get one last year though, 16-16. Hopefully, we don't see any ties this year.
Please. Yeah, and especially the way that one happened on getaway day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right, let's go over to football here. So we have a win total at 7.5, at least from one very reputable and good sportsbook, the FanDuel Sportsbook. Then we have the SP Plus rankings, which came out, which had Nebraska inside the top 40 as a team, but in the bottom 20 on defense and in the or I'm sorry, in the bottom 20 on offense and in the top 10 on defense, which is kind of amazing. Now all this stuff is based off of what you return, and it's a very like, I don't know, 40,000 foot view of kind of what your team is going to be this year. But obviously there's low expectations for the offense right now, considering, they lost production. The metrics don't really love that. If Nebraska's offense is blank, they will be a pretty good team this year.
Middle of the road.
Yeah. I kind of think so too.
Like BC and I were talking about that on our podcast this week. You don't need, like, the turnover question is takes up a lot of air in the room every year about, how much better can you get in turnover margin? Because that's a big one to me, is like, you don't even have to get to, you don't have to be like plus 10 in turnover margin this year to see significant improvement. Like, if you just get anywhere in the neighborhood of even, you feel pretty good about Nebraska's chances to hit that, 7-8 win mark. Like, what were they, minus 17 last year?
I think I was just trying to pull up the number. I think that was it. I can get it here real quick.
And there's a pretty strong correlation with Nebraska football over the last 7 or 8 years and how they finish in that turnover margin. I mean, they haven't been positive since 2016. So
crazy.
I think that you don't need to kind of recreate, an offense. You just need to be middle of the pack, and I think you can have a pretty good recipe there to take a step forward as a program.
Minus 17 is the number. They lost 31 total turnovers last year and got 14 of them back on defense. Both of those numbers aren't enough. If you force more turnovers and obviously give up way more, that's already a significant start to figuring out the right equation for them.
Right. And that's the value of having a defense that, is a top 20 defense. It makes that margin of error a little bit wider for your offense. And, I like I said, I don't think you need to be completely different on offense. You'd love it because it was hard to watch at times last year and certainly hurt Nebraska in November. But I think people kind of need to keep that in mind when you're having that conversation about what the offense can be. It's like if you get just to the middle of the pack in Division I football in the FBS ranks, you'll be okay. Because I think that defense is going to be pretty good. We'll see what they are in special teams, but the offense just needs gradual progress there.
One of the storylines last year was like, hey, Nebraska's never. When they were sitting on 5 wins for a month at the end of the season, we're like, man, if they couldn't do it now, they had such a great opportunity to get to at least 6 wins, and they ended up not winning all of those games in the month of November. And people were like, well, this is like the easiest it's going to be. That was such a great opportunity that they spoiled it. I think that's true. But Bruntz, I feel like out of that, we have kind of romanticized the schedule for this year. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't see anything that's the most daunting thing in the world, especially if Nebraska is able to, kind of meet people halfway on how good they are. Obviously, Ohio State's going to be one of the best teams in the country, but outside of that, it's not a murderer's row for them this year either. That's another thing that goes into the metrics and figuring out win totals.
Are you suggesting that there's gettable games for Nebraska?
I'm suggesting that there are several winnable games.
So, yeah, and the thing is, too, is you just with the way the schedule falls this year, and not talking about, the Big Ten stuff, but you're actually opening the season at home, and you have an opportunity to, get a little bit get your feet under you a little bit as you start the season. If you're running a freshman quarterback out there, this schedule is the most favorable for Nebraska that it's been in terms of just being able to, get some confidence and to kind of figure out who you are at home rather than having to go play, a conference opponent on the road right out of the gate. That's a significant thing. Matt Rule's on that podcast on ESPN, and he hit on that a little bit, where they maybe weren't ready for those environments yet, and I'll approach things differently. So that I think that factors in the win conversation as well, is you just have a little bit more easy entry to the season versus having to go play a prime time game against Minnesota.
By the way, I haven't listened to that. Is there any other good stuff from him on the Game Day podcast?
He had some strong restaurant takes, which
That's
are always
great.
a little bit polarizing. But I think he was correct. I think he had some informed takes there. Some good stuff on Tony White. So it's worth a listen.
Okay.
When you're done with the show here.
Of course, and after you've taken in all of Husker 247's content as well. All right, Michael, we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7, all over Husker baseball this weekend for their 3. Baylor, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma at a big league park.
Big league park is cool. That's fun.
Big league park is cool. But as Kyle Perry said yesterday, I've been around for 40 years. I've played in several big league parks.
At Ebbets Field.
He should have dropped that one in there. Yeah, I played at the old Yankee Stadium, so I know.
Seen it all.
Don't worry about that. I've been in college since like 2004. All right, we'll come back. A couple more things, and then, of course, at the top of the hour, we will get to Evan Porter, and we'll ask him how to create Mike Bovey in the aggregate. Fabio? Who the heck is Fabio? More up next on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
You can find pizza anywhere. But when you want pizza pie piled high with more toppings, that's when you come to my place, Godfather's Pizza. For a limited time, get your hands on 2 of my large one-topping pizzas. Pick pepperoni, beef, black olives, you choose. All this food for only $30. Feed your whole mob without breaking the bank. Hey, it's an offer you can't refuse. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Planning something fun for your office, family, or friends? Joe's Karting is for you. Take a break. Come to Joe's to race, relax, and recharge. Great for team building. Ditch the speaker and burn some rubber. Trust us, Joe says you'll leave motivated. Joe's Karting race packages range from providing simple stress relief races to the real deal race experience. Check us out at joeskarting.com. Remember, go to Joe's, your place to race.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for acne, allergies, chronic diseases, depression, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Ross Dellinger checked in on Tuesday with a story.
Hi, Ross.
With college sports at key juncture. What does the future of the NCAA tournament and college football playoff look like? And then that afternoon, it was announced that ESPN had bought the rights to the playoff for, 6 more years and more than $7 billion? So
you are correct.
Yeah.
Money is the future.
Money is great take, Josh.
Thank you.
But the finer points of this, and I'm starting to become more and more interested, like we were talking about earlier, like what is the Big East place in this new world? You know, these things that we hold near and dear to our heart and are certainly important locally as well. But I'm starting to think about the finer points of this, of like who really gets left in the dark here, and this new, in this world where the Big Ten and the SEC are colluding together to run the world, basically, which is, we've started on that path already. Ross had some thoughts. Over the last 3 weeks at 2 separate meetings, high-ranking college leaders took the initial step in exploring significant change to both the NCAA men's basketball tournament and the college football playoff. talked about this before, Josh. The general thought is, what are we doing? We all agree that this is perfect, but they don't agree. They don't agree. It's the thing that like is the connecting line in all of this is, and we know this because we say it every time, they don't care about you, nor do they have a pulse on how we feel or think. It's just like, are we making enough money on this? How can we make it so we make more money? And how can we make it so we have more access? Like, none of it is from the perspective of the fan who says, I really like this, or the player who says, I really like this, but I don't, I understand what I'm getting into when I play there, when I play in a school that could make the NCAA tournament, or when I play in a school that couldn't, right? I understand the terms of engagement. None of that is really thought about.
So I understand the obvious, like, well, got to make more money than you did the last year. And if we expand it, it's more inventory, we make more money. Like, I get all of those obvious things. But there's literally no one asking for this.
That's correct.
There are not fans of like Vermont basketball who are like, hey, if this tournament was just a little bit bigger, we could get in there and really wreck some things. There's nobody.
It makes it worse.
Like a bottom feeder, the SEC, like no Vanderbilt fans would be like, hey, if more Power 6 teams got in here, we could really get in here and do some damage.
Nebraska,
no one wants this.
Ask Nebraska fans. I think we would have the wherewithal to say this out loud. Even though Nebraska has little to no history in the NCAA tournament, it's not like we want to change the tournament so Nebraska can make it.
If they could just get in, they'd get that first win.
Right. Dellinger writes, while the power leagues together team up to push the NCAA to grow the basketball tournament, the two richest leagues are joining forces to modify its football counterpart. A seasoned New York businessman and former talent agency executive Brett Yormark views the moves as the next phase of college athletics evolution into a more robust business. In the business world, it's referred to as the value equation. Quote, if you contribute more, you want more. I think that spirit came into both rooms, and I think it's very appropriate. All these commissioners think it's very appropriate. The basketball tournament is the NCAA's largest and most vital revenue stream, keeping afloat the organization itself, as well as helping subsidize hundreds of small college athletic departments. As part of a tournament television deal with CBS and Turner that runs through 2032, the NCAA distributes annually around $700 million to its schools, both in base amounts and in units earned through advancing in the event. Sorry, I don't mean to read too much, but I feel like it's important. The 5 major college football conferences plus the basketball power Big East normally earn most of the more than $200 million worth in incentive units. For instance, those 6 conferences were responsible for winning 70% of the available units last year. However, discussion between the commissioners and the NCAA go beyond the topic of revenue and also include the growing wish for more access in the form of at-large spots. In the meeting with Baker, the commissioner of the NCAA, president of the NCAA, commissioners were transparent about their desire for more access in a 68-team field that includes 32 automatic qualifying spots, 27 of which go to non-power leagues. Quote from Brett Yormark, I just want to see the best teams competing for a national championship. No different than the Big Ten and the SEC want to see in football. I'm not sure that's currently happening. Once again, these guys live in their own world. Like,
it makes sense if you're looking at a spreadsheet, and I get that, but
no, it actually doesn't. What Brett Yormark just said in that quote is completely wrong. The best teams are competing for a national championship because they've won their conferences and they get to go into the tournament.
If you expand it and there's the 20 seed ain't making a run like St. Peter's or George Mason. Like the 20 seed is there to pick up a check and lose.
We have the blessed experience of seeing all of these high major programs over the years, with whether you're a Creighton fan or you're a Nebraska fan. Like, if we're doing this so the entirety of the Big East or the entirety of the Big Ten can make the tournament, it's totally bunk, because those bottom 3 or 4 teams in the Big Ten and certainly the bottom 2 in the Big East are horrible.
Yeah.
Those teams are ass. They would lose to Vermont 10 times out of 10.
What if Michigan got in the tournament this year?
Right. Like that's the idea.
And
In
if everyone in
expanding
the
the
Big Ten gets in the tournament, why the hell are we playing the games?
It's a great question, Josh. So
just make the whole season a 300-team tournament or whatever.
Dillinger writes, do you eliminate automatic qualifying spots to small conference champions? That move is sure to backfire politically at a time when congressional help is sought. Do you simply add more at-large spots to the field? That complicates an already crammed schedule. And if you do expand the men's event, wouldn't the women's tournament need expansion too?
Great point. Yes.
The commissioners described Baker as understanding and receptive to their points, paving the way for future modifications.
Jack John tweets in.
Hey, Jack John.
It would be embarrassing if Nebraska's first ever win came because they expanded the
That's what I'm
field
saying.
to 96
like
teams.
we're all adults here.
Yeah.
We're all adults here. The whole like Nebraska is fighting against this wall, and if you dissolve the wall, then it becomes not cool anymore.
Just get rid of the wall. That's Nebraska's problem.
Like if here's your
Corbin
task. Here's your task, Nebraska basketball. You have a giant rock wall in front of you. You have nothing to use. You have nothing to break down this wall. You cannot climb it. You must find a way through this large rock wall, and you have nothing at your disposal. Go. That's been Nebraska basketball for the last 80 years. Try again. And
get a player named Gorbabov.
What the commissioners of major college sports are trying to do right now is give you a giant stick of dynamite. Blow it up. Blow up the wall. That's fine. Well, that's not fun. I've been chipping at this wall and using my what's the guy from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
His pickaxe.
Yeah, what's the guy's name?
Yukon Cornelius.
Yukon Cornelius. I've been picking at this thing for decades and decades and decades and decades. And yes, it is frustrating, but I don't at this point, I don't want the stick of dynamite. Do not give me the stick of dynamite.
I've put in decades of work
Yes.
to get through this wall, and I feel like I'm almost there. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know.
I have put in the man hours to do this. I'm almost there, I think. No dynamite. No thank you. It's just dumb. And it's totally blind to how everybody else, everyone loves this tournament, and everyone says it's perfect. And what makes it cool is, and it might not make you as much money as you want it to, whatever, but everyone, the part that everyone loves about it is when Drake beats Ohio State. It is when Ali Farouk beats Kansas. It is when, when in Jordan's old arena,
23
and 23, and Terrell Taylor makes that shot against
we let you have
Florida.
Dumb little playing games. Okay.
Yeah, seriously. I hated that. I still hate it, by the way.
It's still stupid, but okay, whatever. The field of 68. And I still sometimes have to nope, it's 68, not 64. Which conversation do you want to have least, Connor? If Nebraska's first win comes in a play-in game, whether that counts or not, or whether a win in a field of 96 counts.
Oh my God. I hate them both so much. I'd pass on both of those.
Okay. I'm just calling sick.
Here's from Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC. We talked to President Baker specifically about the basketball tournament, and we do expect and that we do expect and want a holistic review of the tournament. Phillips, whose league has won more basketball titles in the last 22 years than any other conference, 8 in the last 22 years, said, as it relates to value and contribution, I think we all believe that that's important and should be considered. Everybody has access to this thing, man. It's super easy. And I know the problem here is basketball is just so along for the ride in this conversation that it doesn't really get the thought. But if you follow the logic through it, it's that the big conference, the major conference commissioners are basically triggered that they have a couple teams every year and miss out on that are left on the altar, and that South Dakota State gets to play. Right. And that, and teams like UNO get to play, or Marist, or whoever makes the, Mercer, whoever makes the NCAA tournament, instead of a very middling Texas A&M.
Syracuse has a tradition.
Syracuse. They love being on the bubble.
They need to be. Syracuse lives on the bubble.
They love being on the bubble.
They've got bubble front property.
So I don't think that's what the actual motivation for it is. But if you follow the logic in that, hey, we want more access to this thing, and we're sick of our, you would say, we're sick of our teams getting left in the bubble, and yet we have to sit at home and watch another random school play. Sorry, I couldn't think of another one off the top of my head.
Rhode Island.
Who beat Purdue last year?
Oh. A lot of good it did their program, huh?
Who beat Purdue last year? Well, we had St. Peter's in the Elite Eight a couple of years ago.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
You kidding me? We got to sit at home and watch Fairleigh Dickinson play in the NCAA tournament? Yes! You didn't win your conference. That's how it works. Sorry.
How could I forget that school's name?
Not everyone wins. All right. Let's see. We have any emails here. Oh, yeah. I finally got my email from Bob on Mac. So
there it is.
We can do that later. But John emails in.
Hi, John.
There are plenty of Nebraska basketball fans that would like the tournament to expand, probably to 132 teams. They want to see their team playing in the postseason. No, I think once again, I think we're adult enough to say, actually, you know what? I don't think that would be good, even though it would get Nebraska inevitably a tournament win at some point. I would decline the tournament win for the greater good of the sport.
The vast majority of fans are rational enough to go, you know what, that's dumb. Of course, there's the oddball Nebraska fan. Yep. 130 teams? That sounds great. Nebraska will advance to the round of 68.
Dubs.
But this has all the vibes of everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah. Everyone gets money. People, or the conference commissioners get more money.
The kids get a trophy. We get a check. Everybody wins.
That's stupid. It's a basically pure thing. And it's, I don't know. We're definitely, that was the point of the story. We are definitely at least on the road. I don't know how long the road is. I don't know how far the drive is, but we're on the road to it changing.
Yeah.
We have, the train has left the station.
I mean,
the streetcar has gone to Gretna.
We both also are rational enough to understand we're shouting at nothing, and no,
but I'm going to keep telling you how much I hate it.
No white knight is going to come in and go, no, Reggie Miller on a telecast is not going to speak ill of the tournament. And then all of a sudden cooler heads prevail and they go, you know what, maybe we don't expand this thing.
But I'm going to keep saying it, Josh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you should. That's your job.
All right, coming back, we'll talk to Evan Porter. How do you create Mike Bovee in the aggregate? And scheduling philosophy, what kind of team he's got this year, the advantage of getting outside for the last couple weeks before their first road trip.
Defending their state title,
all covered with Evan next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
You know what Mentality can help you with? Low energy, motivation, weight gain, muscle loss, fatigue, tired all the time, feeling anxious, moody, irritability, impatience, anxiety, and depression. Mentality can help you with their board-certified physicians and their testosterone treatments that can take care of you and get you back in the game. You can regain normal function and restore your ability to perform normally at all levels just by Mentality. Set up an appointment today. Go to lowtusa.com. Get back in the game. Don't sit on the sidelines and let Mentality lead the way.
Omaha native Frankie Fiddler is top 20 in the NCAA Division I scoring and leading the Omaha Maverick men's basketball team in a run for the conference title. The Maverick men are at home against South Dakota on Thursday and South Dakota State on Saturday. And Maverick hockey only has 4 regular season home games left on February 23rd and 24th when they take on Colorado College in a top 20 matchup. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now. Call the box office at 402-554-MAVS or omavs.com/tigs.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded onto the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent downtown at the CHI Health Center, Omaha. Be there as the Supernovas take on Orlando on Sunday, February 18th at 5 p.m. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
This is a sale so hot, Standard Heating and Air can only do it once a year. Right now, buy a Carrier air conditioner from Standard Heating and Air and get a free furnace. Now, that's a hot deal.
StandardAC.com, where we do the things we do.
Carrier, turn to the experts. Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. It's starting to feel more and more like baseball. I'm sure we'll get the the various returns to winter in the spring as we go on throughout it. But we have baseball this weekend for our local squads, and that includes the Mavericks. UNO is down at Arkansas State this weekend, and the head man, Evan Porter, joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Evan, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good, Connor. How you doing?
Good. Sound good to you? Ready to start some baseball? Even though, I mean, you guys have had the feeling now a little bit for a couple weeks, being outside, and you get to take the road trip this weekend.
Yes, this has been a rare January and early February where I think if we count backwards, we've probably been outside as much as we've been inside for practices. And if you can usually get one practice outside, that's a successful winter workout season to get some fly balls in. But we've been very fortunate in this unique January and February months to be outside the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so there's a difference too, right? It's not just, taking ground balls and fly balls. Like I imagine you guys have had the extended time where you feel like, all right, maybe we can actually roll the ball out there and play ball. Like, have you scrimmaged outside?
Yes. So last weekend was our first time we scrimmaged outside. We have been doing live at-bats indoors up until last Thursday and Friday. And then yesterday we got kind of a midweek situation where we got guys in innings. So we've had some game experience outside. And like you said, there's really not a way you can simulate that when you're indoors. So that's really beneficial to see balls off the bat and not only in game situations, but in BP, just having our outfielders be able to get some fly balls and in a real baseball field setting has been really wonderful this off season.
Well, there's always going to be a portion of it that's a mystery no matter what. And I want to talk about your team here in just a second, but let's start with the coaching staff who gets a little bit of a makeover up top. Tell us about the guys that you brought into your program and sort of how you ended up with a bit of a reshaped coaching staff going into 2024 here.
Yeah, so we haven't really had any turnover on our staff for the last 5 or 6 years. And Coach Brian Strawn and Peyton Kenny have been wonderful for our program, and I love them both dearly. But life happens, and they had other opportunities that came up, and we're sure happy for them and thankful for all the work they've done for our baseball family. But we've got 3 new coaches. Coach John Manganaro, who is a Hall of Famer at Wayne State College. He was the head coach there for about 20 years, and he brings a unique, kind of old school mentality to our program, which I think is really beneficial for our players. Tyler Goodrow, who's a local coach here in town, he's a catching guy and built this catching brand. And he's got a big following on social media, and he's wanted to get into college coaching for a while. And so he showed interest, and we were fortunate enough to have him jump on board. And then finally, Michael Bradshaw, who he was a pitching coach for BYU for 3 or 4 years, and we had played them, I think 2 or 3 times over the past 5 years. And each time we played them, he made a point to come up to me and say, my wife and I, we'd like to be in Omaha someday. So if anything ever opens up, keep us in mind. And he was actually with the White Sox organization the last year and a half as a pitching rehab coach. And I got to give his wife a shout out, Nicole. She kept tabs on our coaching staff online and saw that we, had some changes, and he reached out, and now he's with us.
Well, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong here, like there's some real, is that where you're shooting for, just a little bit of balance? Like you have, whether it's age or different experiences or places that people have been around the country, like it feels like you've struck a nice balance there.
I think so. You always want to surround yourself with, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. And we've got some coaches with the wealth and knowledge and experience. So I'm excited about our staff, and ultimately it's all about the players on the team. And I feel like these guys can do a really good job as far as bringing them, knowledge or experience or those things that, every season brings its own unique challenges, but having coaches at the top that can help guide you through those it's really important. So I feel really fortunate to have these coaches on staff.
Omaha baseball coach Evan Porter is with us here on 1620 The Zone. I want to ask you about your schedule this year. And, there's always going to be something that pops up in terms of, weather, and stuff will get moved around, and maybe you'll end up getting more games. Who knows how the weather will cooperate. But just like generally philosophy wise on who you schedule, where you go, and sort of why, it looks on paper to maybe not be as top heavy as it has been from a non-con, what you do outside of conference play to start on your schedule this year. I guess, what's the sort of philosophy on that, and how has it evolved over the years now?
Well, I'm always a big believer of, providing great experiences and taking our guys and putting them in hostile environments and playing the best that we can. And every year is different, but this year kind of worked out more so. I think we had 3 flight trips last year, which was pretty expensive. So this year we've only got 1, and then next year we'll have a couple. So I just got to kind of be, mindful of our budget and things like that. So that plays into it too. But, you're right. We're not opening up at UCLA like we did last year. We don't play Arkansas this year, those kind of premier type programs. But I do feel like, we've got a good balance as far as we're going to play some really successful programs, but they might not have the big name or the big brand that we have had in years past. But I think, our non-conference is still going to prepare us for a really challenging year in the Summit. And, we have a current conference opponent that is coming off a World Series run. So we've got a tough schedule ahead of us. Creighton, Nebraska are doing really well and great programs, and Kansas State, Kansas for some other non-cons. So we'll still mix those in for our midweeks. And then, we've got 4 weekends of non-conference to get ready for the Summit League. And I think our schedule will prepare us for that.
Hey, you mentioned Oral Roberts from last year. You got, just to flash back, I guess, a little bit, getting the experience to go, I guess we'll say quote unquote experience, I guess, to go up against them a whole bunch and seeing them up close in Omaha, and then again in Omaha in June. Like, I don't know, how beneficial was that to your program to look around and say, hey man, that was a really talented group, but like it happened, it's doable. Obviously the sights are super high, but like to see it happen and all unfold, I'm sure that brought a lot of pride to the Summit League, and then also maybe opened up your eyes a little bit as well.
I think so. I think it shows how close you really are to achieving something like that. And what they did last year wasn't, if you saw them play like we did, our 2 Summit League series, it's not surprising, but it's nonetheless, that impressive of the run that they made. And they really had lightning in a bottle almost all season, and some older experienced guys and a really solid ball club. And they were playing their best baseball towards the end of the season. And that's ultimately what we want to be doing. And then, if you can get hot at the right time. Anything can happen in baseball. It's not always the more talented team that wins. It's whoever plays best that day. So, that's a mentality that we want to have too. And that's what we brought in this fall. And the theme of this year was health, and we wanted to stay healthy all year long, which meant preparing in the weight room and the training table and on the field last fall to carry over to help us being in a spot where we're feeling healthy throughout the season as the grind goes on and ultimately playing our best baseball come conference tournament time.
Yeah, it's a perfect transition. Tell me a little bit about your team and sort of like how much can you know, with what you have under your belt right now, and then figuring things out as you go. Like what do you think you know about this team as you start the season this weekend?
Well, this will be my 8th year as a head coach, and then I was an assistant 4 years before that here. So I think every year you feel like you kind of got a grasp of, your identity from the fall and the winter and going into the spring. But, in 3 days, we're going to find out, or 2 days, we're going to find out who we really are. And when we play somebody with a different jersey on, that's when guys will surprise you in a good way, maybe in a bad way. But that's when you really figure yourself out. And especially these first few weekends, we can mix and match a little more to get guys in lineups or on the mound to ultimately have us playing, better each weekend going into summer league play and into the season.
How about from like a depth perspective? It got hairy at times last year. Just you mentioned the health piece that kind of went sideways on you for a little bit. I guess, how do you feel about that picture going into the year? And then, like you said, the overarching goal of like, hey, we want to be in better position to really compete with our best guys when it's time to go.
Yep. Yeah. That's, ultimately it's my fault for going through those issues and either not having depth to have the next guy up mentality to keep the thing going or putting in guys in situations where they can maintain their health. So I think that was a big focus this offseason as far as getting depth recruiting wise. And then, like I said earlier, just making sure we're health minded as we're going through our fall season and into the winter. So we're in a much better spot right now than we were last season. I think we have 2 of the same 3 guys that were on our pitching staff 2 years ago that was, they were top 50 in the country ERA guys with Caleb Rydell and Charlie Bell. And Caleb was out, probably 3/4 of the year last year. And then Charlie Bell was working through some dead arm issues last year, but he's kind of bounced back to regaining his velocity. So we've got guys with experience, but also success in that experience. So I'm excited about that. And then, I think we've got, plenty of other healthy guys that we don't have to extend them too long, especially on these first few weekends to not have any sort of, mega drop off and stay competitive on the mound, and then having guys pick it up behind them. And that's really the key to success. Hitting always comes and goes, but pitching and defense is something that if we can fill it up and pick it up behind our pitchers, then I think we'll be okay.
Have you found a way to like Moneyball your way? And have you watched Moneyball enough to like figure out how to recreate Mike Bovee in the aggregate, and math that whole thing?
If anybody has that formula, that's worth its weight in gold. But he's been working out with us these last, few weeks and months, and he's actually taken off for spring training the same day we're taking off for Jonesboro Thursday. So it's been great to have him around. He's
cool.
Just such a hardworking guy, and he's impacting our program, even though he's not on the current roster still, just the way he carries himself. And, he's someone that once he walks through the doors, he doesn't seek it, but he turns a lot of heads. So the way he goes about his business and works and is obviously his talent. So I'm super excited to follow his beginning of his professional career here too.
Coach, thanks for doing this, man. Good luck this weekend. Appreciate it. We'll see you at the ballpark soon. Can't wait.
All right. Looking forward to it, Connor. Thank you very much.
But it's Evan Porter, the head coach of the Omaha Mavericks baseball team. He tried. Well, we're just going to tell you that was straight up not live. You might have been able to tell.
We just had video issues.
We recorded it 2 days ago. And I think that maybe we told him we were going to play it on Wednesday, and then we had a full day yesterday, so we just ended up playing it today. So he thought it was going to happen on Wednesday, and he tried to correct himself. I mean, he really did give it a shot, which I appreciate.
We appreciate him.
He likes the theater of the mind.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy, and they're in good hands over there. And I'm interested in the dynamic in the new coaching staff and what that's able to bring. And they had a tough go of it last year with just how things went on the mound, injury piece of it as well. It's never easy for teams like Omaha. But once again, we talked about this in the middle of the Ed Service interview yesterday. I'm interested in how some of these Midwestern teams might perform this year due to the fact that they've been able to get outside. Maybe you can steal them a couple games in the middle of February, like this weekend or next. So we'll see how that works out for all three of our local baseball teams. We've done it. We covered them all. And
boom. They said it couldn't be done.
Now we can just bring college baseball up a little bit on this show until June. But you will hear plenty of college baseball on the radio because the Boys of March will be with you.
That's right.
The Boys of March will be here.
Not the tournament or round robin thing that Nebraska's in, but the series after that against Grand Canyon, all on ESPN Plus.
Hello. Like that.
You're gonna get some chances to see this team.
There wasn't a whole lot of they didn't do a whole like a big deal, like a big, we're going to play the number one team in the country this year on their schedule. But there's some good teams who went to the NCAA tournament last year, at least for the Mavs. All right, coming back here, still haven't talked about these new trash MLB jerseys.
Oh my gosh, we haven't, have we?
Yep. So we'll get there. Haven't talked about beer at Nebraska baseball coming potentially.
Love beer.
And also Caitlin Clark Day. I just hope that her coach isn't there to overshadow her and say something stupid tonight.
It'd be a real shame if she took that girl's moment.
We would hate to see that. Back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? Previously on The Crossover.
We create a podcast.
Yes.
That where we get two people together who have divorced each other.
Yes.
And they talk about when they realized they wanted to divorce each other.
And how much they hate the other person. That's the key.
And just generally how it all fell apart. Dude, I mean, it's a great idea. It's really funny. I don't think a podcast like this exists anywhere.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies for your Thursday afternoon. A bit cooler with the high today in Omaha 40 degrees. Clouds begin increasing late this afternoon and tonight, becoming overcast. Light snow possible overnight, low 26. Omaha getting up to 1 inch of snow. Meteorologist Caitlin Harvey of KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
You can find pizza anywhere. But when you want pizza pie piled high with more toppings, that's when you come to my place, Godfather's Pizza. For a limited time, get your hands on 2 of my large one-topping pizzas. Pick pepperoni, beef, black olives. You choose. All this food for only $30. Feed your whole mob without breaking the bank. Hey, it's an offer you can't refuse. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
You know what Mentality can help you with? Low energy, motivation, weight gain, muscle loss, fatigue, tired all the time, feeling anxious, moody, irritability, impatience, anxiety, and depression. Mentality can help you with their board-certified physicians and their testosterone treatments that can take care of you and get you back in the game. You can regain normal function and restore your ability to perform normally at all levels just by Mentality. Set up an appointment today. Go to lowtusa.com. Get back in the game. Don't sit on the sidelines and let Mentality lead the way.
O'Reilly.
You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Start your engines. Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends? Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
Johnny emails in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, John.
Do we know if the Big Ten has established the protocol for what is to be done and when it is to be done when the NCAA scoring record is broken tonight at Carver Hawkeye Arena?
I'm sure the conference stepped in and said, look, you love protocols. Here's a bunch of protocols for how you are to handle tonight's record.
Lisa Bluter will be asked to speak during the presentation. I'm sure this will be a long, drawn-out ceremony. Peacock's got to be loving this, by the way.
Yeah, they really lucked into something.
So it'll be this long, drawn-out ceremony during the middle of a competitive basketball game. It's like it's 15-11, and Caitlin Clark has scored the first 7 points or whatever. And they're like, Michigan's like, can we go? Or who are they playing tonight? Michigan?
Yeah, you got it right.
Michigan's like, come on, we want to play some basketball. And Lisa Bluter's like, no, it's my time to have the microphone. And she gets on there like a WWE superstar, and she goes, this is how you do it. This is how you follow protocol. Did you see how all that went tonight?
You sweat
Before
hogs
the
have
game,
never followed a protocol in your life.
Before the game, during the game, and guess what? We're going to still follow the protocol after the game, too.
Before the game, what? During the game, what? After the game, what?
I guarantee you she makes a comment when they go to their post-game press conference tonight, but it won't be reported.
It's gonna be very much a
somebody
nice to be back home.
Somebody needs to keep a camera on her so we can get the whatever under her breath comment is going to be as they head into the press conference room tonight. Please do this.
It's gonna happen.
Yep, Caitlin Clark will set the scoring record tonight. Notably, not Sunday.
You think I could get a credential and drive over there before?
That would be against protocol, Josh.
It would?
They would not let you in. Oh. No protocol.
Sad.
What are you? You're from Nebraska? I don't think so. You gotta have an Iowa address for that.
It's of regional interest.
I bet you could. You want to drive over to Iowa City? 5 hours?
It does not sound like a fun way to spend my time, but
just sit in the car, chomp on some sunflower seeds.
Oh, yeah. I do have a whole box of them.
It gotta be fun. You can. Now, we don't encourage this, but you could theoretically bet the entire time if you wanted to.
Well, you can't bet while you're driving.
No, I mean, you can't. No, you can't. Right? They'll pull you over for that?
I would assume so, yes.
You can't use your phone while you're driving. I thought it was a secondary offense or something like that. Anyway, don't do that. Yeah, get somebody else to bet for you.
Tons of protocols in Iowa. I mean, I could pull over to a place and get some gasoline, some more sunflower seeds, and play some bets.
Do some bets. Get something off the roller grill. All right.
Mike makes a great point here. I do work for an Iowa college, so I have that address, 2700 College Road, Council Bluffs, Iowa.
All the national reporters, I wonder if they just went with her to Iowa City this week that were here in Lincoln on Sunday.
Mosey on over. Stuck on this beat.
There was a couple for sure. Wonder if they just went with. I had to hear Lisa Bluter talk about protocols all week. All right. The top story of spring training this year, at least so far, has nothing to do with the seams and stitches on a baseball. Instead, it is about the seams and stitches of baseball's new uniform and specifically their manufacturer. They've rolled out a new uniform for this season. It is the Nike Vapor Premier. Nike claims that the jersey is softer, lighter, and stretchier than the previous model, but many of the players say it is worse. It not only feels worse, but also definitely looks worse. Angels outfielders said, quote, "It looks like a replica." Wednesday, many Major League Baseball players criticized the jersey for its poor fit, its cheap look, and its inconsistent quality and small lettering. "It feels kind of papery," Taylor Ward said. "It could be great when you're out there sweating. It may be breathable, but I haven't had that opportunity yet to try that out. From the looks of it, it does not look like a $450 jersey. So far, thumbs down." Here's the best part out of this. And Fanatics has taken over the production of these jerseys, even though it's a Nike jersey. They are more expensive to buy also on the like the replica jerseys. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that 450 number and I was like, what? Where are you buying your stuff?
Angels reliever Carlos Estevez was in a tizzy over the new threads. He pulled out a couple tops and pairs of pants to show the shades didn't match. He laughed at the spacing and shrunken nature of the lettering on the back of the jersey, and he bemoaned the fact that he can't customize his pants to his preference the way pitchers once could, tailoring the fit to their butts and tree chunk thighs. Quote, "When I wear my pants, I feel like I'm wearing someone else's pants," Estevez says.
Oh, has anyone checked on Spencer Strider?
"I could see Estevez flexing," Taylor Ward said, "and it was just ripping in the back." So hopefully Major League Baseball players complain about this enough to where something gets changed here. But this is a really great start to the MLB season. Incredible start. They look horrible. You'll keep seeing pictures over the next couple of days as players arrive and they'll get their jerseys. I mean, it looks like Josh bought it off of the Chinese website.
No, my China knockoff looks better than that.
Do you think it does?
Yeah, because it's stitched.
Unbelievable. Well, it's not,
Well, yeah, but it has the stitched aesthetic. These look like not just screen printed, bad screen printings. We both said in the pre-show production meeting.
Of course.
These look like jerseys.
They look like jerseys.
I like the one guy who said, "I'm 6'6". This is going to look tiny
on
my back."
That was Carlos Estevez.
Yeah.
Look at the last names, bro. This is going to look tiny on me. A Cardinals player said, quote, "I think the last names look really bad. I saw someone on Twitter say this is a Walmart jersey." So the best part about it is, how does it impact you, the fan, aside from looking at the ugly jerseys on the baseball field? Nike will sell 3 versions of the Nike Vapor Premier jerseys to fans. The limited jersey, which is inspired by the on-field jersey, the game jersey, which is a replica jersey, and the elite jersey, which is like the authentic jersey. Only the limited jersey is available, the cheapest version. And if you could buy a Ronald Acuna one, Josh, for $174.99. Or you could go to your Chinese website and buy it for $12 plus $30 shipping, and
you gotta wait.
Have it 6 weeks,
yeah,
and then you'll be good. But you will have spent significantly less money, and the jersey looks better.
Never underestimate the Chinese knockoff.
Don't we love? I'm just gonna blame Rob Manfred for this.
Yeah,
this one has to be on him, right?
And to some extent, Nike too. Like, come on, everyone just pawned this off on Fanatics because the guy throws a really cool Super Bowl party.
Apparently.
Hey, we want to be on this guy's good side. He's got a really kick-ass Super Bowl party every year.
Now, some people are choosing not to freak out about it yet, like Reds catcher Luke Maley, who said changing jerseys is like changing toilet paper. Quote, "You notice it at first, but after a while, it's just your toilet paper."
That actually speaks to me because we recently changed the toilet paper at the Odson Casa Mojo Dojo
house. Is that a good?
That's not good, but
no. But I'm saying
he's right.
Is that a good comparison to be making? Yeah, it's just like changing your toilet paper. After a while, you just get used to it and you don't care about it anymore.
I mean, that's probably what's happening here. But because NHL fans have long said, like, oh, beware of Fanatics, beware of Fanatics, beware of Fanatics. And I always thought, like, well, yeah, Fanatics isn't very good at their job, but also, like, couldn't part of that be the NHL is poorly run and doesn't, took the life preserver of a Fanatics deal?
Yeah, I don't get it.
And then baseball's here like...
we're going to willingly do this.
Yeah.
We already have a great jersey deal, and they look fine, and now we're going to...
I thought maybe the quality would be a little better with Emmett, like, hey, we're Major League Baseball. We're not NHL. We can't have poorly produced
like
merch out there.
So on jerseys, on like authentic jerseys, they'll have, lengths, right? It's not a small, medium, large, extra large, double X. They'll say it's 46, right? What these all look like on the players, as I've seen pictures of them for the last 48 hours now, is like I'm looking at one of Lucas Giolito, who's a tall guy. Lucas Giolito looks like he's just wearing a large T-shirt at this point. It doesn't form like the arms, the sleeves are short, and the numbers are really high and off center, off kilter. This is horrible, bad look. Anyway,
I think I'm looking at this has got to be a Cardinals player.
Oh, Miles Michaelis.
I'm looking at Gibson, number 44 for somebody. The player in front of him appears to be wearing red and yellow, so I'm assuming this is a Cardinals.
They also so I don't know if anybody cares about this. Well, I don't know if anybody cares about this conversation at all. But so the MLB logo, they used to put it inside, in between, like the back of the neck and like they have a slice of piping on the jersey. There, most jerseys have on the back side of the neck there, and they took that logo and inexplicably just moved it outside of the piping. And then the name below that, and then the number below that. So they crunched all this stuff into a very short area and made it worse looking. Great job. Impressive stuff from the Major League Baseball.
We go to YouTube for a comment from Charles.
Hey, Charles.
This is like when George bought the Yankees cotton baseball jerseys.
Yeah, John said the same thing. Did MLB allow George Costanza to design the new uniforms? He's trying to get fired.
So I'm betting they're not going to change this.
I don't know,
but they have to change this.
It's really bad.
There's the one it's a Mariners player it's a side by side of last year's jersey.
I think it's George Kirby.
Yeah, it's a George Kirby jersey, and it looks like a bad screen print, and it's terrible.
Amazing, fantastic stuff. Josh, I know we discussed this a little bit on the crossover before we take a quick break here and get out. Any thoughts on the NCAA video game? Or like everybody that I've talked to on this today is trying to maintain their composure because they still have concerns about, if it's real or not.
Can I ask what might be a stupid question? Like, why do we think this isn't going to happen?
Because it hasn't happened for, 12 years now or whatever it's been.
I mean, it would be a pretty colossal blunder if we've gotten this far and it didn't happen.
We had official recognition 5 months out, which is now, and we have them talking about how we're going to hear more in May in a couple months. That's good enough for me. I'm good here. I don't know what it's going to look like. I can't tell you if the game's going to be good. I can't tell you if the engine's going to be good or whatever, but we're going to have a game. We're going to have a video game in July. It's going to be beautiful.
I'm very excited. I'm very happy for everyone. I might.
You have a console, Josh?
I do not, but it also coincides with like, okay, maybe we need to get the child a video game system.
Start teaching the child video games
to occupy him, because I'm done playing with this kid. There's only so much hide and seek I got in me.
Really?
And I'm about tapped out.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I love my kid. I'll read to him. I'll watch movies with him. I'll play board games with him. I'm about done playing hide and seek.
No more hide and seek.
Let's play college football 25.
Is he any good at it?
No, No, he cheats.
Are you good at it?
I'm better than the effort I put in.
Oh,
sure.
So you let him win. You let him find you.
Well, I mean, he's cheating anyway. He's looking down the hall like, okay,
he is. You let him open up his eyes.
I don't let him. He does. I have to, like, that's part of the game. I have to be away from him.
Can't believe you let him cheat at hide and go seek. What a horrible lesson.
Maybe we need to introduce like a blindfold to hide and seek.
He
I'm
would
sorry,
just-
this is not the question you asked.
No, I'm interested now. Sounds like he would just look underneath the blindfold if given the opportunity.
That's my guess as to what would happen. I mean, we could run some trials, but I think that's what would happen. Yes. Lift up the
Give
flap
him an
and
eye
just peek
patch.
out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Maybe Xbox is the right thing for you, Josh.
Definitely.
Come back. Poll questions tell you what to watch. Next on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Woodhouse Lincoln wants to redefine your driving experience with our stunning lineup of Lincoln vehicles. Lease a 2023 Lincoln Nautilus for $499 a month for 39 months, 10,500 miles per year. Come visit us in store off 114th and Giles Road or online anytime at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, security deposit waived, $1,500 down payment plus first payment, and $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/2024. See dealer for details.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Jordan B. Peterson, We Who Wrestle with God Tour.
If you say the truth and nothing else, you'll have an immense adventure as a consequence. You won't know what's going to happen to you, but the truth will reveal the world the way it's intended to be revealed, and the consequence for you will be that you'll have the adventure of your life.
Jordan B. Peterson, live at CHI Health Center, February 22nd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Don't miss this week's Zone deal.
This week's half-off deal is Cops. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Cops makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings. For the basic menu, click copspizza.com. And for the extended menu, visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and the newly reopened 72nd and Jones locations.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Poll questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Here's what we came up with today. Do you associate Moby Dick with water?
Yeah.
I guess I always imagine whales and water when I think about whales.
Yeah, it's a crucial setting of the book.
But I wouldn't say it's directly associated.
Okay, sure.
90% say yes. Is Jennifer Coolidge like Travis Kelce? What was the case on this? They were just everywhere?
both in every. Odds are one of them is in the commercial you are watching.
Throw Caitlin Clark into the mix.
Yeah.
61% say no, they are not alike. And finally, are we still doing Big Lake? It seems like we are, according to our informed YouTube streamers. I'll vote yes. 70% say no.
Ooh.
It's not much of an opinion question. It's sort of like a factual question.
Right. And I just threw up there, are you tired of hide and seek?
Are you tired of hide and seek? Very early returns. I am going. Ooh, no, we get a couple in. Are you tired of hide and seek? I'm not yet, Josh.
Okay.
But I haven't been playing for the last several years. 50-50 at this moment. This one's going to go down to the wire. I can feel it. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching the NBA final day before the All-Star break, just a 3-game slate tonight. One of those games on TNT at 7:30. Bucks at the Grizzlies. You can get in at for the low price of $2 tonight. Things not going well in Memphis this year. Hulu has hockey tonight, 7 o'clock start between the Stars and the Predators in Nashville. College basketball. Pack the Baxter. It's the final homestand for the Omaha Mavericks. They host the Yotes of South Dakota.
Pack the Backs.
7 o'clock on 1290. You can hear Gary's call there. And Minnesota at number 2 Purdue, 7:30 on BTN. Women's basketball, number 6 NC State at number 16 Notre Dame, 5 o'clock on ACC Network. Number 1 South Carolina is on the road at Tennessee, 6 o'clock on ESPN, the mothership. And Omaha at South Dakota, 6 o'clock. You can hear John Schreiner's call on 1180. And, of course, on Peacock at 7 o'clock, we coronate a queen. Number 4 Iowa hosts Michigan. Caitlin Clark a mere 8 points away from setting the women's all-time scoring record. Can't wait to hear what Lisa Bluter's going to say.
Oh, she's going to say something. She loves saying things.
She does. And a couple non-sports things to watch. Connor, 7 o'clock CBS, the final season premiere of Young Sheldon. News of the tornado reaches Sheldon and Mary in Germany. Missy steps up as chaos ensues.
There's been some buzz about the impending final season of
Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon. What season are we in?
I don't know. It's got to be 6 or 7.
Really? Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Since we started Young Sheldon?
It's got to be. Let's look it up here.
How young is Sheldon anymore? Probably not even that young.
6 seasons.
So if I'm to understand it correctly, I don't think the show is like, it's kind of it revolves around Sheldon, but he's only the main character because the show's named after him. Like, there's a lot of other stuff going on.
I believe so. We're about to start the 7th and final season of Young Sheldon. We got 127 episodes in the can already.
That is a lot of Young Sheldon.
Right. And Connor, finally on Netflix, the 2002 film Crossroads, starring Britney Spears. It hits streaming services for the first time ever.
Why?
Today. Well, because then, like, you would have had to pay Britney Spears to be in this, to, like, hey, she gets residuals from this. And,
yeah.
And her family was like, no, we cannot have Britney Spears making money of her own. She wouldn't know what to do with it.
Wow, very exciting night of television, Josh. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Connor.
That is what we are watching tonight, and that is the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is your home for the big game. We're in the middle of the best time of the year of basketball season, with meaningful games every night, with 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. The games have never looked better. Pair that with their award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has everything you need. 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout, 162nd and Maple.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors.